Welcome to Literary Journeys with River. Today we explore The Secret of Secrets, the sixth novel in Dan Brown's Robert Langdon saga, a breathtaking story that pushes the boundaries of science, faith, and the human soul. In this new chapter, Langdon faces an ancient mystery hidden within Prague's cathedrals and secret archives, decoding forbidden manuscripts that connect alchemy, religion, and artificial intelligence. Remember, this is just an illustrated summary, not the full book. Here you'll experience every revelation, every symbol, and every secret that shapes this thrilling journey. If you love stories that blend philosophy, technology, and mystery, subscribe and activate the notification bell. Tell us where you're watching from. Your comments help Literary Journeys reach more readers worldwide. Let's begin. Prologue. Dr. Brigitte Gessner floats above Prague, without body or form, yet with her consciousness intact. As she glides over the snow-covered city, she tries to rationalize what is happening, convinced she's experiencing a clinical hallucination, an out-of-body experience. Yet her sense of lucidity makes her doubt. She vaguely recalls a physical pain and, instantly, a chilling memory strikes her. She is strapped to a machine she herself designed. In front of her, a monstrous being covered in clay, with eyes full of hatred and a Russian accent, tortures her demanding answers. The creature, who calls himself her protector, accuses her of betraying a woman whose name evokes terror in Gessner. Subjected to unbearable pain, she reveals secrets buried deep beneath Prague. As the monster declares they deserve to die, he restarts the machine and leaves. Gessner, on the brink of death, begs to return. But it is already too late. Chapter 1. Robert Langdon wakes up in a luxurious suite at the Four Seasons Hotel in Prague, accompanied by Catherine Solomon, a noetic scientist with whom he has recently developed a romantic relationship after years of friendship. After comforting her following a disturbing nightmare, caused, he believes, by a glass of absinthe, Langdon heads out for a run through the city before his morning swim routine. As he jogs, he recalls the lecture Catherine gave the previous night at the Vladislav Hall in Prague Castle, where she challenged traditional models of human consciousness. Langdon supported her from the audience, explaining the symbolism of halos in religious history, setting a mystical and academic tone for the talk. While running, he reflects on romantic moments shared with Catherine in the city and how Prague has triggered an unexpected bond between them. The chapter ends with Langdon returning to the hotel, unaware that his world is about to change completely. Chapter 2. In the deserted, snow-covered streets of Prague, a towering and mysterious figure known as the Golem moves forward, dragging his black cloak. Covered in hardened clay and bearing 3 Hebrew letters on his forehead meaning truth, he has just brutally interrogated Dr. Brigitte Gessner, who revealed dark scientific secrets. This being considers himself the protector of a woman he secretly follows and for whom he would do anything. As he walks through the alleys of the old town, the golem suppresses a strange mental state called ether, which he combats with a metal rod. Amid thoughts about his mission, he recalls Gessner's confession about an aberrant creation hidden deep within the city. Meanwhile, in London, a man named Finch panics after failing to reach Gessner, fearing something terrible has happened in Prague. A silent and powerful threat begins to stir. Chapter 3. While running through the historic heart of Prague, Robert Langdon admires the buildings, churches, and bridges that form the backdrop of his escape with Catherine. He walks ancient streets, crosses the iconic Charles Bridge, and relives the moment they shared their first kiss in the rain. He reflects on the unexpected connection they've developed on this trip. At the same time, the golem returns to his dark apartment, painted entirely black and filled with ultraviolet lights. After removing his clay and ritual cloak, he prepares for a disturbing process, gagging himself and releasing the ether. The scene contrasts with Langdon's beautiful walk. On the bridge, Langdon sees a female figure with a disturbing black radiate crown, identical to the one Catherine described in her nightmare. When he notices she holds a spear and smells of death, terror overtakes him. He runs back to the hotel, convinced something terrible is about to happen. Chapter 4. At the Strahov Swimming Center, Langdon performs his morning routine trying to clear his mind, but Catherine's words from her lecture echo in his head. Human consciousness is not confined to the brain. He recalls how Catherine brilliantly dismantled outdated scientific models and presented arguments for a coming revolution in the study of the mind, challenging the concept of paranormal phenomena. Meanwhile, running back to the hotel, Langdon crosses the Charles Bridge again and sees more footprints in the snow. He passes statues and places steeped in history, but his focus remains on what he saw moments before: the woman with the radiate crown and the spear. Haunted by the vision, he rushes desperately to the Four Seasons, pulls the fire alarm, and demands an immediate evacuation of the hotel. Upon reaching the suite, Catherine is gone. Alarmed, Langdon jumps out the window into the Vltava River, convinced an attack is imminent. Chapter 5. Langdon emerges from the icy Vltava River after jumping from his room, convinced the hotel is going to explode. Weakened by the cold, he struggles to reach the hotel pier before being swept away by the current. His mind replays the ghostly apparition he saw: the woman with the spear, the radiate crown, and the scent of death. With superhuman effort, he manages to climb onto the dock, trembling and exhausted. The hotel director finds him drenched and confused, demanding explanations about the alarm. Unable to reveal the truth without sounding delirious, Langdon claims he made a mistake. The alarms are silenced, and emergency services approach. Back in the suite, he finds a note from Catherine explaining she left early on foot for her meeting with Gessner. Relieved she is safe, Langdon steps into the shower fully clothed, trying to calm the confusion overwhelming him about what he saw and felt that morning. Chapter 6. In the dimness of his apartment, the golem awakens from his trance after receiving the ether, feeling a profound sense of connection with the universe. He kneels before an altar lit by candles and gazes at a photograph of a woman he secretly protects, feeling absolute devotion and love for her. Although she is unaware of his existence, he has always been near, silently watching over her and sacrificing everything for her well-being. He considers their relationship sacred and unique. The golem despises the man currently with her, believing he is unworthy. In his mind, the task of protecting her is a divine mission. Watching her even in her most private moments without being discovered, he feels like a guardian angel ready to act against any threat. His determination grows. He must annihilate those who have endangered her world. The golem, hidden in the shadows, has already begun to execute his plan. Chapter 7. In New York, editor Jonas Falkman works in his Penguin Random House office when a young IT technician informs him of an unauthorized access to his secure virtual vault. Falkman is alarmed to discover the target of the attack was Catherine Solomon's confidential manuscript, titled Summa, an acronym for Solomon, Ultimate Manuscript Archive. Catherine had worked on the book secretly for a year, developing revolutionary ideas about human consciousness. Langdon had helped her secure the publishing deal, and she had given Jonas her password that very day. The manuscript, in his view, could be as transformative as the works of Darwin or Stephen Hawking. The hack suggests someone else knows its contents and sees it as dangerous. The breach raises concerns about the publisher's security and the possible release of secrets yet unseen. Catherine's manuscript is now a latent threat. Chapter 8. Langdon reflects in the shower on the surreal experience he had that morning, still trying to make sense of the vision of the woman with the spear. He vividly remembers Catherine's nightmare, nearly identical to what he saw on the bridge. In her lecture, Catherine discussed documented cases of precognition, like Lincoln and the Titan disaster. She also described a scientific experiment where a subject anticipated images before the computer randomly selected them, suggesting thought might create reality. Langdon begins to question his rational beliefs. Was the nightmare a warning? The coincidence between the dream and the bridge scene leaves him perplexed. Suddenly, someone knocks on the bathroom door. Thinking Catherine has returned, he exits the shower, only to meet a stranger, Captain Janicek of Czech intelligence, who accuses him of causing an evacuation. The most shocking revelation: he confirms there was indeed a real bomb. Chapter 9. After his ether ritual, the golem contemplates his sanctuary and hangs his heavy black cloak. He thinks about the ancient Prague legend in which a rabbi created a monster from clay to protect the Jewish people, inscribing the word Emet, truth, on its forehead. When the golem went out of control, the rabbi erased the aleph, transforming the word into Met, death, thus ending the creature. Today's golem sees himself as the heir to that legend, another incarnation in the cycle of souls. He too was created to protect someone, the woman in the photo on his altar, and is convinced his duty is to destroy anything that threatens her existence. Having already killed Dr. Gessner and obtained vital information, his mission now is to eliminate all traitors, no matter where they hide. His purpose is clear: to dismantle the hidden creation that conspires from the shadows. Chapter 10. As Langdon gets dressed after his shower, he tries to process that the Czech police found and defused a bomb in the hotel precisely at the time he activated the alarm. Captain Janacek, stern and skeptical, interrogates him relentlessly, not believing his version. Langdon finds support in Michael Harris, the legal attaché from the U.S. Embassy, who appears to ensure his rights. Though Harris advises honesty, Langdon hesitates to reveal everything. Finally, the captain coldly reveals that the bomb found in the hotel was set to detonate at 7 in the morning, confirming Langdon's fears. The coincidence between Catherine's vision, the figure on the bridge, and the discovery of the device is too perfect. The conversation centers on whether Langdon's alarm was an instinctive reaction or a supernatural warning. Still in shock, Langdon begins to realize that what seemed like irrational panic was, in fact, salvation. Chapter 11. Jonas Falkman panics upon discovering that Catherine Solomon's manuscript partition has mysteriously vanished from the server. Despite technician Alex Conan's attempts to recover the files from backups in Maryland, all have been purged. Falkman's distress grows, knowing he's lost a full year of work from his most promising author. Meanwhile, in London, Finch, operating from the control center of the secret organization Q, greenlights a covert operation after confirming Catherine has done something unexpected. His objective is to prevent the spread of potentially dangerous information. With full operational access, Finch moves without restrictions, executing his plan across Prague and New York. The disappearance of the manuscript is no accident. It's part of a larger operation aimed at erasing every trace of a revolutionary technology that threatens to upend the global balance of power. Chapter 12. Langdon faces the skeptical Captain Janacek, who shows him an image of the woman he saw on the bridge, identical to the figure from Catherine's nightmare. Pressed by the officer, Langdon admits he triggered the hotel evacuation because of the vision, which matched the dream exactly. Janacek's disbelief grows, and he accuses Catherine of faking the threat to promote her book, suggesting the whole episode was a publicity stunt. Harris tries to mediate, but the captain insists that Dr. Solomon had a clear motive: to validate her theories on the paranormal and boost media attention. Convinced it was all staged, Janacek demands to know Catherine's whereabouts and her connection to Dr. Gessner. Under pressure, Harris reveals the lab is at the Bastion of the Crucifix. The atmosphere turns hostile, and Langdon realizes he and Catherine are under serious suspicion. Chapter 13. Langdon is escorted by Janacek to the Bastion of the Crucifix, where Catherine is supposedly meeting with Dr. Gessner. In the hotel lobby, Harris whispers to Langdon that he revealed the lab's location only to protect him from arrest for obstruction. As they leave, Harris informs the captain that the ambassador is aware of the situation, but Janacek insists on interrogating Catherine. Meanwhile, Harris leaves in a taxi, speaking fluent Czech, revealing an unexpected background. He was raised by a Czech nanny and is fully bilingual. The taxi ride confirms Harris is involved in unofficial tasks for the ambassador, part of a murky mission that could backfire. His emotional connection to Dana Danek and his personal secrets add layers of tension to his diplomatic role, as he rushes to find answers that could prevent an international scandal. Chapter 14. Dressed plainly to avoid attention, the golem moves through Prague's narrow streets as he processes the information extracted from Dr. Gessner. His target leads him to Black Angels, a mystical underground bar, where he accesses an old internet terminal. There he finds the technical data needed to enter Gessner's hermetic lab chamber, which hides a world-changing technology. As he erases his digital traces, he recalls torturing Gessner and the brutal means needed to extract the truth. He feels jealous of the new lover of the woman he secretly protects and plans to eliminate him without remorse. In streets filled with tourists and fake satanic harlequins, the golem sees Prague's duality, tradition and darkness. Fueled by the ether, his thirst for vengeance intensifies. He is ready to destroy all that threatens the woman he silently adores. Chapter 15. In New York, Jonas Falkman decides not to wait any longer and turns to a printed copy of Catherine Solomon's manuscript he had kept hidden in his office. Fearing another digital breach, he takes the document to an external copy shop to scan it. He stores the manuscript in a backpack and leaves the building under the icy New York night. As he walks, a black van discreetly follows him. When he stops to give directions, he's attacked, hooded, and thrown into the vehicle with no chance to resist. Meanwhile, at the publishing house, Alex Conan continues investigating, finding no trace of the cyber attack. Unable to contact Falkman, he breaks protocol and calls Catherine directly. Getting no answer, he tries Langdon, again no success. Alex begins to fear something serious has happened, and that events are spiraling far beyond the publisher's control. The danger surrounding the manuscript is escalating rapidly. Chapter 16. During the suffocating ride in the Skoda with Captain Janacek, Langdon feels both physically and emotionally trapped. The officer insists on questioning Catherine separately, convinced they're manipulating the situation. Langdon reflects on precognitive dreams, recalling historical examples and the famous Barnum effect he used in lectures to debunk astrology. However, the accuracy of Catherine's dream makes him question his own beliefs. As the vehicle climbs through Salamanca Park toward the bastion of the crucifix, Langdon grows increasingly fearful for Catherine's safety. Neuroscientist Gessner had boasted about the site's electromagnetic properties, ideal for private research. But now, Langdon suspects that same privacy may have put her in danger. What once seemed theoretical is materializing into a chain of real, alarming events. The lab's fate could mark the beginning of a tragedy. Chapter 17. On Manhattan's icy streets, Jonas Falkman walks toward a copy shop carrying the only copy of Catherine Solomon's manuscript. Though wary of a nearby van, he lowers his guard when the driver behaves normally. In an instant, he's attacked from behind, hooded, and kidnapped. Breathless, he realizes he's caught in an inescapable situation. A few blocks away, at the publishing house, Alex Conan frantically tries to locate Falkman. Multiple attempts to reach him fail. Determined to act, Alex breaks rules and accesses the publisher's files to find Catherine's number. Receiving no reply, he tries Langdon, again without success. The absence of both alarms him. The manuscript's disappearance, Falkman's kidnapping, and total silence signal a much larger conspiracy. Isolated and unsupported, Alex realizes he's entangled in a web that is closing in on everyone involved. Chapter 18. From London, Finch receives confirmation that operations in Prague and New York are proceeding as planned. As part of the secret organization Q, modeled after the James Bond character, Finch coordinates Project Threshold, an operation capable of reshaping the world order. With an exceptional mind and flexible ethics, he's authorized to use any means necessary to ensure success. Meanwhile, the Golem finishes his search at Black Angel's bar, where he accesses critical technical information to infiltrate Gessner's underground lab. Before her death, Gessner revealed details about a technology that could change humanity's destiny. Armed with knowledge and purpose, the Golem now feels invincible. His plan won't just destroy a secret facility, it will reach the upper echelons of global power. The countdown to a catastrophic revelation has begun. Chapter 19. Langdon arrives with Janacek at the bastion of the crucifix, home to Dr. Gessner's private lab. Despite repeated knocking, no one responds. Seeing no answer or sign of life, the captain orders Lieutenant Pavel to shoot the armored glass door. Langdon watches in horror as bullets and kicks destroy the entrance. Once inside, the silence is absolute. There's no trace of Catherine or Gessner. Langdon grows increasingly distressed, fearing something terrible has happened. Footprints in the snow suggest someone arrived earlier, but no one knows who. Tension rises as the captain insists on separating Langdon for interrogation. Determined to protect Catherine, the professor refuses to leave her side. The bastion, with its thick walls and eerie stillness, hides secrets about to surface. Danger hangs thick in the air. Chapter 20. At the U.S. Embassy in Prague, Dana Danik is working in her office when Michael Harris makes an unexpected request: to track a woman wearing a spiked tiara seen on the Charles Bridge. Although the request exceeds her official duties, Dana agrees because of her personal bond with Harris, with whom she shares a secret romance. As she accesses the Echelon system, a surveillance network controlled by the U.S., she reflects on the emotional risks of her involvement. The cameras, installed after the Czech Republic joined NATO, allow for near-total monitoring of the city. Despite her discomfort with digital espionage, Dana begins the search, intrigued by the strange description. Her work may hold key answers about the mysterious figure Langdon saw on the bridge. Unknowingly, she becomes a crucial player in a game where privacy and security are on the line. Chapter 21. Langdon walks through the bastion of the crucifix with Janacek, intrigued by the place's design and the enigmatic absence of Catherine and Gessner. After inspecting the area, he finds a crookedly hung Paul Evans sculpture concealing a secret entrance. The captain, suspicious, forces him to sit while contacting his team, but Langdon, recalling a cryptic clue Gessner left the night before, deduces that the lab's key is linked to a riddle: an Arab tribute, a Greek mathematician, and a Latin twist. Skillfully, he deduces that the password is 314S159, an encrypted version of PSI, and accesses a hidden elevator. The code works, and Langdon descends alone to the lab. Meanwhile, the golem heads toward the bastion with dark intentions, and the past of Lieutenant Pavel reveals disturbing family ties that influence his loyalty. Tension rises. Something ominous is about to be unveiled. Chapter 22. Pavel mocks Langdon for his fear of guns, unaware that the professor has disappeared. As Captain Janacek steps out to the courtyard, Pavel becomes distracted by a dating app and loses track of his prisoner. Alarmed, he searches the room until discovering that Langdon has vanished. Hidden behind the Evans sculpture, the professor has found a secret entrance to an elevator protected by a code. Meanwhile, at the publishing house, Alex Conan breaks protocol and discovers that someone erased all digital copies of Catherine's manuscript and that Faulkman has been kidnapped. Inside the van, the editor is brutally interrogated by two men who destroy the only printed copy of the book. Under growing pressure, Langdon must decipher the code to enter the lab. Outside the bastion, the golem arrives and watches Janacek, determined to eliminate any obstacle in his path. Chapter 23. Jonas Faulkman wakes up with a bag over his head and hands tied, inside a van driven by two strangers. They interrogate him using an AI-equipped camera to detect lies, demanding to know if more copies of Catherine's manuscript exist. Faulkman tries to deceive them, recalling espionage tricks, but is caught and savagely beaten. Horrified, he learns his apartment has been ransacked and the manuscript destroyed. Meanwhile, at the publishing house, Alex Conan illegally accesses the surveillance system and, upon seeing disturbing footage, realizes someone has murdered a Penguin Random House author to stop the book's publication. This revelation paralyzes him. The golem, still driven by twisted devotion, infiltrates the bastion unnoticed. At the same time, Captain Janacek organizes an operation to apprehend Langdon and Catherine, unaware that chaos has already begun beneath his feet. Chapter 24. Trapped in a hidden passage, Langdon recalls his uncomfortable meeting with Brigitte Gessner the night before. During a dinner in which she came across as arrogant and condescending, she hinted that her password was encrypted with a riddle: an Arab tribute, an ancient Greek, and a sinuous Latin touch. Catherine, affected by absinthe, missed the hidden warnings. After long reflection, Langdon deduces the Arab tribute is pi, the Greek is Archimedes, and the S is the Latin twist turning PI into PSI. He concludes the code is 314S159. Upon entering it into the elevator keypad, it activates and takes him to the underground lab. Determined to find Catherine, Langdon steps into a luxurious, silent environment, wondering if he will arrive in time. As the elevator descends, The weight of a chain of secrets and a terrifying premonition overwhelm him. Chapter 25. The golem recalls, with disturbing fascination, Catherine Solomon's lecture. Sitting at the back of the auditorium, he felt personally addressed by her words on sudden savant syndrome, cases where people gained extraordinary abilities after brain trauma. Stories like the boy recalling a past life as a pilot or the man who woke up speaking Swedish captivated him. To him, Catherine wasn't just a scientist but a revealer of hidden truths, confirming his altered existence. Inspired and obsessed, the golem approaches the bastion of the crucifix, convinced he is destined to protect her, even if it means destroying others. But upon arrival, he sees the ZSI car, the broken door, and realizes he is not alone. With silent steps, he infiltrates the perimeter, shrouded by morning fog, his thoughts oscillating between reverence, jealousy, and violent determination. Chapter 26. Captain Janacek stares into the ravine after a series of arrogant calls, convinced he's about to achieve long-awaited vindication. He believes he has control, planning a press conference and a high-profile arrest. But the U.S. ambassador confronts him with 6 devastating words. "We know there was no bomb." Humiliated and disarmed, Janacek cancels his plans and is left at the mercy of diplomatic disdain. Just then, someone pushes him over the wall, sending him into the void. Cracked and bleeding on the rocks, he recalls how he agreed to be a pawn in a secret operation orchestrated from London, driven by resentment and a thirst for revenge. The fabricated bomb threat, meant to justify arrests, became his downfall. As consciousness fades, he feels unexpected peace, as if his body no longer belongs to him. The truth consumes him. He was manipulated, used, discarded. In his final moment, he surrenders to the abyss of failure. Chapter 27. Langdon explores the empty underground lab, room by room, through sophisticated imaging halls, virtual reality chambers, and tech development zones. Each silent space devoid of Catherine fuels his anxiety. Finally, in a noisy white room, he finds a capsule with a human figure inside. The constant beeping and thick mist obscure the body's identity. Panicked, he bangs on the glass, fearing it's Catherine. Suddenly, a woman strikes him with a fire extinguisher. It's Sasha Gessner's Russian assistant. Shocked by the scene, Sasha stops the machine and reveals it's an EPR capsule, an experimental resuscitation prototype Gessner had not yet completed. The crimson fluid in the tubes confirms the worst. As the lid opens, Langdon sees Brigitte Gessner's lifeless face, frozen in a grimace of horror. Catherine isn't there, but neither is life. Chapter 28. At the U.S. Embassy, Harris realizes the situation is far more serious than he thought. After a tense talk with the ambassador, he abruptly halts Dana's investigation into the mysterious woman on the bridge. Upset and suspicious, Dana ignores the warning and resumes her search, determined to uncover the truth. Using facial recognition tech, she uploads the young woman's face into a global database network, from passports to social media. Meanwhile, Harris drives toward the bastion, knowing Janacek has lost control. Though he maintained composure with Dana, his thoughts race with new connections. The lab, the tiara-wearing woman, and Catherine's manuscript. Dana, still angry, suspects Harris is hiding something both personally and professionally. Driven by jealousy and curiosity, she's about to uncover an identity no one expected. The surveillance net tightens, pixel by pixel. Chapter 29. Langdon is horrified to discover the lifeless body in the EPR capsule, but soon realizes it's not Catherine. It's Brigitte Gessner. Sasha her assistant, collapses in grief at the sight and moments later suffers a violent epileptic seizure. Langdon tries to assist her, recalling basic care steps during a crisis. He searches her bag for medication in vain and ends up cradling her head as she convulses. The contrast between the dead body and the vulnerable woman in his arms reflects the moment's intensity. Catherine remains missing. Meanwhile, above, Lieutenant Pavel finds the secret lab entrance and prepares to descend armed, convinced he'll catch the fugitives. Unaware that the real enemy has already entered. At the bottom of the ravine, Janacek agonizes after being pushed. He feels peace and resignation, knowing he was used as a political tool. As his consciousness fades, he accepts his story has ended. Chapter 30. Langdon holds Sasha, exhausted after her epileptic attack. He notices her scars and recalls how Catherine described epilepsy as a natural gateway to altered states of consciousness. Mystics, artists, and saints experienced similar seizures that challenged the limits of the human mind. Sasha, unconscious, represents that link between science and transcendence. Meanwhile, the golem has entered the bastion unseen using biometric access. Pavel, still at the entrance, notices the panel is open and the door ajar. He believes Catherine, Langdon, and Gessner are trying to escape, unaware that the true intruder is already nearby. He decides to descend armed on his own, hoping to redeem himself to his uncle, unaware that Janacek lies dying at the bottom of the ravine. The captain, bleeding and defeated, recalls the call that manipulated him into fabricating a false threat. His fall wasn't suicide, it was punishment for obeying the wrong person. Chapter 31. Dana Danik reviews the footage from the Charles Bridge, trying to identify the mysterious woman wearing a tiara. She watches as the woman receives a call, sprays herself with liquid from a bottle, and pulls out a small metal spear. Then she walks slowly across the bridge, ignores a man who approaches her, and upon reaching the statue of St. Augustine, throws both the spear and the crown into the river. She disguises herself with a white cap, leaves her coat as an offering for the homeless, and descends a hidden staircase. Facial recognition software tracks her to Campa Park and later to the Four Seasons Hotel. Upon arrival, Dana is shocked to see Michael Harris, her boss, exiting a diplomatic vehicle. Furious, she follows him into the hotel, unaware she's stepping into the very place where government secrets, covert operations, and the dangerous truth behind Catherine Solomon's manuscript intersect. Chapter 32. Sasha regains consciousness after her epileptic seizure and begins to piece together fragments of her memory. She recalls a childhood in Russia marked by cruel bullying, family abandonment, and long confinement in a state-run mental institution. At age 10, she was committed to a psikhushka where she suffered abuse, particularly from a sadistic nurse named Malvina. One day, Malvina turned up dead, and Sasha was unjustly imprisoned. Years later, Brigitte Gessner entered her life and rescued her, offering experimental treatment for her temporal lobe epilepsy. Thanks to a neurostimulation chip, Sasha learned to control her seizures. Gessner gave her housing, a job in her lab, and a second chance at life. 2 years later, Sasha has become her assistant, contributing to advanced research. As she returns to awareness and sees Langdon concerned beside her, the memory of Brigitte's death hits her with full force. Chapter 33. Jonas Falkman, frozen and bound inside a van, is interrogated by two men who accuse him of knowing more about Catherine Solomon. Using a lie detection system, they press him on whether she printed a copy of the manuscript. Falkman maintains composure and sarcastically challenges their questions. Though his answers reveal he's unaware of any printed version, the captors suggest Catherine betrayed him. Falkman recognizes classic psychological manipulation tactics and refuses to fall for them. But one clue alarms him. They're tracking Catherine's every move. The more violent man reveals they're flying to Prague and already have his passport. In a grim tone, he jokes about killing Falkman's cat, confirming the seriousness of the abduction. Terrified, Falkman realizes he's caught in something far deeper than a publishing dispute. Catherine's manuscript holds a truth someone powerful is desperate to silence. Chapter 34. Langdon helps Sasha recover from her epileptic crisis. While searching for water, he is attacked by Pavel, an agent of the ZSI, who violently restrains him, demanding the whereabouts of Catherine and Gessner. Langdon resists, revealing Gessner is dead. Sasha intervenes, striking Pavel with a fire extinguisher and knocking him out. They realize they must flee before he regains consciousness. Sasha reveals she knows Michael Harris and proposes contacting him from her apartment instead of the embassy. They prepare to escape through the only available exit, with Sasha picking up the agent's gun to avoid retaliation. They cautiously leave, crossing the bastion in silence and descending a slippery path toward Salamanca Park. Langdon reflects on his unsuited attire for a fugitive. From the shadows, the golem watches them, hidden among the trees. Langdon and Sasha remain unaware they've drawn the attention of a deadly, silent enemy. Chapter 35. Dana Danik follows Michael Harris into the Four Seasons Hotel and gains access to the royal suite by posing as a cleaning staff member. Upon entering the room, she encounters the woman from the bridge, now aiming a gun at her. Dana confronts her, accusing her of searching the suite of American citizens. The woman identifies herself as an undercover operative, claims to work with the ambassador, and demands Dana leave. Shocked, Dana mentions the bridge scene, prompting a veiled threat. The agent warns her not to speak of anything without consulting the ambassador. Meanwhile, Harris arrives at the bastion and finds Pavel disoriented, claiming Catherine attacked him. Harris realizes he's referring to Sasha. While searching for Janacek, they discover his corpse at the bottom of the ravine. Pavel, in shock, breaks into tears. The scene shifts dramatically. The captain's death is now an unexpected twist in the diplomatic chaos. Chapter 36. Langdon and Sasha descend from the bastion to Salamanca Park, exhausted and freezing. They reflect on Gessner's death and Catherine's possible disappearance. Langdon recalls recent days with Catherine, marked by a new romantic bond. Together, they visited symbolic places in Prague and debated the manuscript's content. Catherine insisted her book would reveal revolutionary scientific truths about human consciousness, challenging paradigms and showing that thoughts can influence reality. During a taxi ride to Sasha's apartment, they manage to reach Harris, who instructs them not to use their phones and promises to meet them in 20 minutes. The call cuts off before they can ask about Catherine. Emotionally drained, Sasha rests, while Langdon, grateful for her help, watches her. The urgency to find Catherine and grasp the danger around them intensifies. Catherine's manuscript seems to hold far deeper implications than they expected. Chapter 37. Langdon tries to calm himself as he recalls the mysterious woman's appearance on the Charles Bridge. Her movement, blank stare, and aura of death convince him it wasn't a hallucination. He considers Prague's supernatural legends but concludes the woman was real. He develops three hypotheses: a precognitive vision from Catherine, an impossible coincidence, or a staged setup meant to manipulate them. He concludes it was a setup designed to destabilize Catherine after her nightmare. He suspects hidden microphones in the royal suite at the Four Seasons, something he's encountered in other countries. He believes someone powerful is listening and recreated the dream to incite fear. Though the rational explanation brings some comfort, it also terrifies him. The idea of an invisible enemy capable of manipulating their environment convinces him that what's at stake is far more than just a book. Chapter 38. Mr. Finch, furious over Dana's intrusion into the Four Seasons suite, receives a report from Agent Susan Housemore. She explains how she recreated Catherine's dream scene on the Charles Bridge, including the tiara, the spear, and the nauseating odor, following precise instructions. The operation was a psyop, a psychological warfare tactic designed to disorient and sow chaos. Housemore confirms Langdon fell for the trap. In the suite, she concludes her mission by extracting a Sennheiser parabolic microphone hidden among the embassy's tulips. It was a surveillance transmitter placed on Finch's orders. The manuscript was not found, and the suite is returned to its original state. Exhausted, Housemore retires. Meanwhile, Finch contacts the U.S. ambassador directly to control the damage. All signs point to a high-level secret operation where every move is meant to mislead, confuse, and block the book's release. Chapter 39. Trapped in a van headed for Prague, Jonas Falkman recalls the lunch where Catherine Solomon presented her revolutionary literary proposal. At Trattoria dell'Arte, with Langdon as intermediary, Catherine demonstrated an experiment showing two fish moving in sync in separate tanks. Upon changing perspective, it revealed one tank seen from two angles. The visual illusion illustrated her thesis. Human consciousness is a unified entity that transcends the physical brain. The book's new paradigm questions reality's very foundations. Impressed, Falkman committed to publishing it. Now, frozen and kidnapped, he can't understand why someone wants to stop its release. He tries to lighten the mood with sarcasm, but a chilling revelation unnerves him. They're headed to Prague under orders from a mysterious boss. Faulkman struggles to stay calm, slowly realizing the true gravity of the threat surrounding them. Chapter 40. Langdon and Sasha exit the taxi and walk through Old Town toward the apartment. Langdon recalls his tense dinner with Brigitte Gessner, marked by a debate about the afterlife. Gessner ridiculed out-of-body experiences, while Catherine saw them as evidence that consciousness could survive death. Langdon, caught between views, remained skeptical. During the conversation, Gessner accidentally revealed a card with a strange symbol. The Vel spear, linked to the Hindu god Murugan, symbol of power and enlightenment. When Langdon pointed it out, Gessner feigned ignorance, claiming it was a gym card, but he noticed her discomfort. He sensed the card had a hidden purpose and that the symbol revealed a deeper connection. As they walk toward the apartment, Langdon feels the pieces are starting to fit, but the full truth behind the lab and the book remains to be uncovered. Chapter 41. Robert Langdon arrives at Sasha Vesna's apartment, a cozy space where the scent of tea and the presence of Siamese cats create a relaxing atmosphere. Sasha shares intimate details about her life, including her friendship with Dr. Brigitte Gessner and her love for romantic comedies. As Langdon recovers from the recent chaos, he feels tempted to contact Catherine, but remembers the ZSI may be tracking him. The calm breaks when someone slips a note under the door, alarming Sasha. The message, addressed to Langdon, reveals that someone has kidnapped Catherine and summons him to the Petrin Tower. Panicked, Langdon rushes barefoot outside, shouting into the void for answers. In the shadows, the golem watches, pleased with the success of his trap. His plan has worked. Langdon is about to head alone and vulnerable to the place he has chosen. Chapter 42. While driving to Sasha's apartment, Michael Harris recalls how he met her in a tea shop and earned her trust, hiding the fact that his approach was part of a secret mission ordered by U.S. Ambassador Heidi Nagel. Sasha, scarred by a troubled childhood and epilepsy treated with a brain implant, opened up emotionally to Harris, believing she had finally found companionship. Harris, however, wrestles with guilt, knowing he's manipulating a vulnerable woman. Their mostly platonic relationship has deepened over time. In an earlier meeting with Nagel, Harris expressed his desire to abandon the mission for ethical reasons, but the ambassador pressured him, using his romance with Dana Danik as leverage. Ultimately, Harris agreed to continue under the promise of a doubled salary. Now, determined to protect Sasha from a situation he no longer fully understands, he promises this will be the last time he visits her. Chapter 43. Langdon, shaken by the note claiming Catherine has been captured, prepares to go alone to the Petrin Tower. Sasha, worried, offers him a pistol and a spare key to her home in case of emergency. Langdon refuses the gun but accepts the key, grateful for the gesture. As they part, they share an intimate moment where Sasha reflects on her memory issues and her cherished moments with Brigitte. Moved, Langdon tries to comfort her before leaving. His decision to go alone stems from the looming danger and the uncertainty about who's pursuing them. Sasha, meanwhile, must wait for Harris and seek refuge at the embassy. Deep down, Langdon doesn't know if he'll return, but something drives him to act. His fear for Catherine, the urgency of the situation, and the threat of an invisible enemy mark his departure toward an uncertain and potentially fatal destination. Chapter 44. Kidnapped and freezing in a van, Jonas Faulkman believes he's being illegally transported to Prague. But upon seeing the signature aviation sign, he realizes he's still in New Jersey. Seizing a moment when one captor is distracted, he breaks free and runs toward a nearby SUV. Amid shouting and gunfire, he speeds away down Industrial Avenue, still holding his phone. He thinks he's escaped, but in truth, he's fallen into a trap. The phone was bugged and now functions as a tracker. His captors celebrate the plan's success, as they can now trace Jonas's every move. When he calls Langdon and Catherine to warn them that the manuscript was erased and only one printed copy remains, his pursuers listen in real time. The golem and his allies have turned Faulkman into an unwitting pawn, controlling his fate without him suspecting a thing. Chapter 45. Lieutenant Pavel, still reeling from the blow he received, swears vengeance for the death of his uncle Janicek, convinced Langdon killed him. While resting at the bastion, he becomes certain that Harris lied to protect Langdon and Sasha. He chooses not to inform the ZSI headquarters just yet and instead uses his uncle's phone to issue a blue alert, declaring Langdon a dangerous criminal. Meanwhile, Dana Danik continues investigating the identity of the woman she saw on the Charles Bridge, but her search yields nothing, leading her to suspect a digital wipe ordered by high-ranking officials. Her confrontation with Ambassador Nagel exposes her relationship with Harris, violating embassy policy. Both Pavel and Dana feel manipulated by a larger web of control they can't fully comprehend, but both are determined to act. Chapter 46. Langdon ascends by taxi toward the Petrin Tower, confused by the message linking Catherine to the location. The driver, upon receiving a blue alert identifying Langdon as a suspect in an agent's murder, quietly reports him. Meanwhile, Pavel races toward the tower, determined to capture him. Upon arrival, Langdon is unnerved by the tower's reputation for ancient human sacrifices. On the observation platform, he encounters a newlywed Hindu couple who lend him their phone. He uses it to call the hotel, only to learn Catherine hasn't returned. Pretending to talk with her, he checks his email and finds a blank message with an attachment in Enochian script. The content confuses him and raises new questions. As he tries to decipher the message, he sees his face appear on the blue alert. Pavel, now en route, views the alert as his chance to carry out his revenge. Chapter 47. Langdon rides a creaky elevator to the top of the Petrin Tower. He recalls a conversation with Catherine about Enochian, a mystical language once used by mediums. From the image she sent, he deciphers the message as Ulksidak, though it makes no sense. While pondering its meaning, he sees a flock of birds flying in sync, evoking one of Catherine's theories about the invisible connection among all beings. He recalls her lecture on the illusion of human separation, quantum physics, and universal interconnectedness. The idea that everything is connected resonates with Langdon just as he spots Lieutenant Pavel arriving, gun in hand, after skidding to a halt at the base of the tower. Langdon knows he's been found through the blue alert and has no escape route via the blocked stairway. Tension mounts, and Langdon, out of options, prepares to flee while trying to unravel the message and protect Catherine. Chapter 48. Michael Harris arrives at Sasha's apartment and finds the door ajar, with no trace of her or Langdon. Inside, he sees 3 cups served and a steaming teapot. Suddenly, a creaking floorboard alerts him, but before he can react, he's hit with an electric jolt that paralyzes him. The golem, hidden in the kitchen cupboard, attacks him with a taser and then suffocates him with a plastic bag. After confirming his death, he leaves the body on the floor and writes a note to U.S. Ambassador Heidi Nagel. Using Sasha's stationery with cat illustrations, he places the envelope atop the corpse. His mission continues, and for now, Sasha remains locked away somewhere. The golem, cold and methodical, has eliminated another obstacle in his path. Each move he makes is precisely calculated, and his web of violence and secrets spreads without restraint. Chapter 49. At the top of the Petrin Tower, Langdon recalls precisely the message Catherine sent in Enochian. Transliterated as Ulksidak, he still finds no meaning in it. He reflects on its origin. An app installed the day before when they joked about mediums and alchemy. The message seems ill-fitting, increasing his anxiety. He watches a flock of starlings flying in sync, recalling Catherine's studies on universal interconnectedness. Her claims that humans are linked by invisible bonds resonate with him. As he processes this, a screech alerts him. A black ZSI sedan arrives, and Pavel steps out armed and resolute. Langdon realizes time is up and flees down the stairs, ignoring the "Do Not Enter" sign. As the elevator descends with his pursuer, he runs down the slippery steps, knowing he must find an immediate escape. The final confrontation with Pavel seems inevitable, and every second counts. Chapter 50. Lieutenant Pavel storms into the Petrin Tower with his gun raised, searching for Langdon. Finding the platform empty, he discovers the professor descended via the blocked stairway. Langdon, having raced down, makes a daring leap from the stairs to the visitor's center roof. From there, he escapes through Petrin Park with Pavel surprisingly close behind. Langdon runs past trees, attractions, and chapels until he finds a decorative castle with banners. He jumps in, pushing through the turnstile, and enters what seems to be a dark hallway. Unbeknownst to him, he's entered a mirror maze. Inside a room lined with reflective walls, he's surrounded by images of himself, completely disoriented. The chase has reached a critical point, and Langdon, trapped among reflections, must find a way out before Pavel catches up. Tension mounts in a setting as confusing as it is symbolic. Chapter 51. In the dim light of his apartment, the golem lights 3 candles on his private shrine, an altar in honor of Sasha Vesna, the woman he lives for and protects without her knowledge. He recalls the moment their fates intertwined years ago, when he saved Sasha from a brutal beating in a Russian mental institution by killing Nurse Malvina. That act marked the beginning of his sacred mission. To him, Sasha is a wounded soul betrayed by everyone. Brigitte Gessner, who abused her mind, and Michael Harris, who feigned love while spying on her. Convinced he is her only true protector, the golem justified Harris's murder as an act of mercy. He even manipulated Langdon to get him out of the apartment, ensuring nothing interfered with his plan. He knows Catherine Solomon is in grave danger, but his priority now is to destroy Umbral once and for all. Chapter 52. Jonas Falkman stops, exhausted, in the deserted parking lot of MetLife Stadium after escaping his captors. As he tries to pull himself together, he receives a call from Alex, the publisher's cybersecurity technician, who shares alarming news. He believes one of the authors was murdered in Prague. The revelation leaves Falkman breathless. As he struggles to grasp the full extent of the attack on Catherine and Langdon, agents Auger and Chinberg, tracking his phone, listen to the entire conversation from a distance. The information also shocks them, though their priority remains finding Catherine's manuscript. Finch's name resurfaces as a key figure, making it clear that those behind the hack are willing to eliminate anyone necessary to silence Solomon's discoveries. Stunned, the editor begins to understand the scale of danger surrounding the forbidden manuscript. Chapter 53. Langdon runs disoriented through the mirror maze at Petrin Castle, using the hand-on-wall trick to avoid getting lost, recalling the legend of the Minotaur. Each turn brings him closer or further from Lieutenant Pavel, who pursues him relentlessly. Amid the chaos, the professor sees a gray gleam, the exit. But before reaching it, he encounters an illusionary reflection of Pavel aiming a gun. Pavel shoots, shattering only a mirror. Langdon escapes, dodging shards of broken glass, and finally exits into the open air, leaving the Czech officer's gunfire behind. Sprinting down a path, he spots tourists near the Petrin funicular. Without stopping, he slips inside just as the doors close. As the descent begins, he realizes the maze may have saved his life. Meanwhile, in his apartment, the golem covers his face in clay and carves the Hebrew word for truth on his forehead, preparing to infiltrate Umbral. Chapter 54. Convinced she is about to be fired, Dana Danik heads to Ambassador Heidi Nagel's office, only to be asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Upon doing so, Dana receives sensitive information. What she witnessed at the Four Seasons Hotel was part of a secret embassy operation. Though stunned, she's compelled to remain silent. Nagel is domineering and pragmatic, knowing fear is her best tool to control Dana. At the same time, the ambassador tries to maintain order amid the escalating crisis. The revelation convinces her that Dana is now unwillingly trapped in a dangerous web far beyond PR. Signing the document seals not just a legal obligation, but a turning point in Dana's loyalty. She now holds a secret that could cost her far more than just her job. Chapter 55. While descending on the funicular, Langdon reflects on the cryptic message Ulksidak he received. After reversing the Enochian transliteration, he deciphers Codexel, but soon realizes the true meaning, Codex XL, an internal nickname he and Catherine used for the Devil's Bible. This enormous medieval manuscript is temporarily on display at the Clementinum in Prague, a place they visited the previous day. Langdon recalls the visit and his lectures about the Codex, famous for its full-page illustration of Satan and its supposed inclusion of all worldly knowledge. He reflects on its size, history, and the legend that a single monk created it overnight. Catherine sent the message as a clue, but Langdon isn't sure whether she wants him to return to the museum for safety or is waiting there. As the funicular halts, he decides to head to the Clementinum, hoping to find new answers. Chapter 56. Crossing the George Washington Bridge into Manhattan, Jonas Falkman recalls a lunch with Catherine and Langdon, where the scientist explained her revolutionary theory of non-local consciousness. According to Catherine, consciousness exists throughout the universe, and the human brain acts as a receiver tuned to specific frequencies. Using analogies with radios and streaming services, she illustrated how practice hones one's ability to connect with specialized skills. She also discussed inexplicable phenomena like sudden savant syndrome and extrasensory experiences. Langdon supported her explanations with historical and religious references validating the idea of a collective consciousness. Though complex, the discussion left Falkman intrigued. Back in the present, Jonas follows Alex's advice and throws his phone into the Hudson River to avoid being tracked. As he drives, he remembers Alex's last warning. Someone has discovered who hacked the servers, and the threat is more real than ever. Chapter 57. Langdon arrives at Ujez station and decides to take tram line 22 to the Clementinum. He knows museums aren't open yet, but hopes Catherine is there or left a clue. As he crosses the river, he clings to the hope that the Codex Gigas, a symbol of their shared mystery, holds answers. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Pavel, exhausted and with a throbbing head, resumes his pursuit, determined to catch Langdon before any other authority. Though he should be hospitalized, his thirst for revenge drives him forward. The blue alert remains active, and now many more institutions could be on Langdon's trail. The tram driver, recognizing Langdon's face from the alert on her phone, identifies him immediately. As the tram moves forward, Langdon approaches a place where history, faith, and knowledge converge in search of a truth that could change everything. Chapter 58. In the early hours of the New York morning, Jonas Falkman arrives disheveled and agitated at the Random House headquarters. The night guard, Mark Dole, recognizes him and grants entry, assuming his nervousness is due to a complicated manuscript. Breathless, the editor receives a temporary access card and rushes to his office. Outside, Agents Auger and Chinberg watch from their vehicle, having tracked the stolen SUV. They've lost audio since Falkman tossed his phone into the river, forcing them to act in person. They inform Finch, who, upon learning that the technician has identified the hacker, orders them to contain him immediately. Tech measures are no longer enough. They must now enter the building. As Finch grows increasingly impatient over mounting mistakes, the agents prepare to strike. They know that if they don't extract the information from the informant, the entire operation could collapse. The hunt intensifies, and danger creeps closer to New York. Chapter 59. In her office, Heidi Nagel gazes at the Alchemist Hotel while assessing the unfolding chaos. After briefing Dana Danek on the secret operation, she becomes convinced fear is her best tool. A Marine informs her that Langdon has been flagged in a blue alert as a murderer, prompting her to urgently contact Finch. Furious, Finch blames her for letting everything spiral out of control and reminds her who put her in power. Meanwhile, Agent Housemore, half asleep, receives new orders from Finch: protect Gessner's lab and secure Umbral. The situation is dire. Simultaneously, the golem walks through Prague's Old Town Square, blending in with tourists who mistake him for a street performer. As he hears mentions of Kafka and his famous beetle, the golem reflects on his symbolic link to faceless figures bearing fragile souls. His objective: infiltrate Umbral. Chapter 60. Langdon walks through the icy streets of Prague toward the Clementinum, hoping to find Catherine. Passing the Mozart Hotel, he recalls moments from the Signal Festival, when buildings came alive with light projections. The word halo on an advertisement triggers a memory of a recent conversation with Catherine, in which she explained that halos didn't radiate outward, they absorbed consciousness. This symbolic inversion supports her theory that the brain receives universal information. Langdon reflects on biblical stories and how various religions shared similar imagery. Catherine argued that consciousness flows inward, explaining her eidetic memory and phenomena like precognition. Though still skeptical, Langdon acknowledges that the theory explains many historical anomalies. As he nears the Clementinum, he wonders if Catherine is waiting for him there. He knows answers are close, and everything is about to be revealed. Chapter 61. Robert Langdon arrives at the Clementinum convinced that Catherine is waiting for him at the Codex Gigas exhibit. Surprised by the crowd of tourists, he discovers that the museum opens at 7 a.m., thanks to a campaign targeting Americans. Believing Catherine might still be inside, he buys a full ticket and enters the Baroque library, admiring its lavish architecture. He searches the faces for the doctor but doesn't find her. In front of the codex, he remembers that Catherine was always more captivated by architectural details than by books. As he surveys the space, a false fire alarm forces the hall to evacuate. Langdon suspects that Lieutenant Pavel, who is pursuing him, triggered the alert. With no visible escape options, he recalls a secret bookshelf hiding a spiral staircase. When he tries to open it, he finds it blocked. Whispering Catherine's name, the door opens. She greets him in tears, and they embrace in the dark. Chapter 62. At Random House headquarters, security guard Mark Dole is caught off guard by two men who enter with an access card and pretend there's a structural emergency. When he confronts them, he is overpowered and threatened as the intruders proceed further into the building. In the IT security room, Jonas Falkman meets with Alex Conan, who clarifies that Langdon is alive but in trouble in Prague. Alex explains how he tracked the professor's phone and discovered that its last location was in the middle of the Vltava River, initially leading him to believe Langdon had drowned. Their conversation is interrupted by noises that alert the technician. Suspecting they are being monitored, Falkman writes in the browser, "We are not alone. Play along." Alex reveals the name of the organization responsible for the hack, leaving the editor stunned. Both realize their situation is far more serious than they imagined. Chapter 63. Still without any sign of Catherine, Langdon remembers when she noticed that the library balcony had no visible access. She then showed him the secret bookshelf hiding a spiral staircase to the upper level. As he relives that memory, a voice yells, ordering an evacuation due to a false fire alarm. Lieutenant Pavel, disguised as an officer, filters the visitors, and Langdon realizes it's a trap. He decides to hide behind the bookshelf. After finding it locked, he whispers Catherine's name. From within, she responds and opens the door. They embrace tightly in the dark. Catherine confesses she thought he had drowned after hearing a disturbing message from Alex, the IT expert. She explains she printed a copy of the manuscript before discarding her phone and hiding in the library. He confirms that the encrypted email Codex XL brought him there. They both understand the situation is critical, but they are alive. Chapter 64. In the stairwell, Catherine and Langdon hug with relief. She reveals that Alex warned her of the danger after the manuscript disappeared and urged her to hide. He also told her he believed Langdon had drowned. Catherine printed a single copy of the manuscript but had to flee before securing it. She decided to hide in the library, knowing Robert would understand the message Codex XL. Langdon, confused, tries to calm her and confirm the attack's details. Catherine keeps the manuscript in her bag, now considered the only existing copy. As they reflect on the risks outside, Lieutenant Pavel interrogates the guard about access to the balcony and orders the library closed. Convinced Langdon is hiding in the secret stairwell, he prepares to confront him. Tension fills the air as Langdon evaluates their escape options. The professor knows they must act soon or risk being trapped without a way out. Chapter 65. The golem stops before Prague's Old New Synagogue, reflecting on the legend of Rabbi Lo and his protective golem. Soon after arriving in the city, he found spiritual refuge in the temple, where he discovered the Gur Aryeh al-HaTorah, a text that gave his life meaning. In the mythical figure, he saw a reflection of himself, a faceless soul destined to protect. He remembered the day he found his purpose by saving Sasha from a cruel nurse. Since then, he became her anonymous guardian, eliminating those who betrayed her, including her mentor Gessner and the false lover Harris. Now, Sasha remains unconscious, kept in darkness to prevent her from learning the truth. The golem heads to the Jewish cemetery next to the synagogue, armed with a taser, a knife, and a metal rod. He knows what lies ahead will require all his resources, physical and spiritual. Chapter 66. Lieutenant Pavel enters the library alone, convinced Langdon is hiding on the balcony. He tries to open the secret bookshelf, but it's blocked. Frustrated, he fires at it and plans to use the Codex Giga's display case as a base for a ladder to reach the upper level. Meanwhile, Catherine and Langdon remain hidden, terrified. Langdon climbs to the balcony and spots an escape route, a metal disc on the ceiling, which he identifies as a smoke detector. Returning to the stairwell, he asks Catherine for items from her bag. Using the battery from her clutch, a granola bar wrapper, and hand sanitizer, he ignites a controlled fire. The flames generate enough smoke to trigger the alarm. Horrified, Catherine realizes the fuel is her printed manuscript. Langdon explains that for her safety, they must destroy it. Though devastated, she understands there is no other choice. Chapter 67. In New York, Finch's undercover agents manage to infiltrate the Random House server room and monitor Alex and Faulkman using a hidden laser microphone. The editor fakes a conversation about piracy to mislead the intruders and protect their real investigation. Meanwhile, security guard Dole, tied up and threatened, manages to break free and traps the agents in a revolving door, triggering the alarm and calling the police. Faulkman rushes to confirm they are safe and discovers the intruders detained in the lobby. With sarcasm, he mocks them before watching them hauled away in handcuffs. Back in the server room, he reflects on the implications of the group behind the hack, whose identity Alex had revealed. Despite the temporary calm, he knows they're caught in a dangerous, global operation, and that the threat goes far beyond literary piracy. The story is only beginning to unfold. Chapter 68. As Pavel prepares to storm the balcony from the display case, Catherine and Langdon execute their plan. He manages to ignite a manuscript page using a portable battery and Catherine's hand sanitizer. He feeds the fire with printed pages, generating enough smoke to activate the fire alarm. Catherine, seeing what he's doing, is distraught. Langdon is burning the only existing copy of her book. He tries to calm her, assuring her it's for her safety. He reveals that Brigitte Gessner was murdered, Jonas has disappeared, and everything points to the manuscript triggering a string of deaths. Tearfully, she realizes they must let it go. Determined to catch them, Pavel places a ladder on the display case and begins to climb. Just as he's about to jump to the balcony, a dark-haired woman enters the library with Marines and stops him. The embassy has arrived just in time to rescue them. Chapter 69. With the alarm blaring and the smoke dissipating, museum staff rush into the library to extinguish the fire. Pavel tries to reach the balcony, but is interrupted by Dana Danik, flanked by U.S. Marines. Pavel surrenders and is apprehended. Catherine and Langdon, still inside the stairwell, hear a voice identifying itself as a U.S. Marine. Catherine unties her coat from the handle and opens the door. Seeing an official badge with the embassy seal, Langdon is convinced they are legitimate. Dana is relieved to find the two Americans alive. Both are escorted out of the Clementinum under tight security. Still in shock over losing her manuscript, Catherine begins to accept that her work may not be recoverable. Despite everything, the bond between them has grown stronger. The mystery persists, but the hope of solving it grows with every step. Chapter 70. Escorted by Marines, Langdon and Catherine leave the Clementinum, believing they're heading to the embassy. But they soon realize the destination is Ambassador Nagel's residence, unsettling Langdon. He knows that outside the embassy they lack legal protection. In the car, Catherine tells him Dana mentioned they couldn't make calls for safety reasons. Langdon confesses that seeing the embassy emblem on the vehicle reminded him of a hidden microphone in the flowers sent to their hotel. He believes they were being spied on. Catherine is shocked, but he insists they must uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Dana informs Nagel of Langdon's concern about Sasha Vesna and Michael Harris. The ambassador orders Scott Kerbel and Dana to head to Sasha's apartment. Alone in the limousine, Catherine decides to tell Langdon the secret contents of the manuscript, knowing they have no time left. Chapter 71. In the heart of Prague, amid luxury shops, the golem enters the gate of the old Jewish cemetery, a sanctuary of centuries of history and sorrow. With over 1,200 stacked gravestones and layers of earth accumulated over 5 centuries, the place represents a community's struggle against oppression. With reverence, the golem removes his hood and dons a kippah, walking among the graves until he reaches the tomb of Rabbi Lo, the mythical creator of the original golem. Kneeling before the grave, covered in stones and prayer notes, the golem feels the energy of the place fill him with spiritual strength. Convicted of his purpose, he connects with the essence of the ancient being. A single truth echoes in his mind: separation is an illusion. As his predecessor's presence overtakes him, he decides he will fulfill his mission, to protect Sasha at all costs. He has chosen truth and death. Chapter 72. During their limousine ride, Catherine reveals to Langdon the core ideas of her manuscript, beginning with the replication crisis in noetic science. She explains that many experiments on non-local consciousness, like the Ganzfeld experiment, have failed to replicate successfully, fueling skepticism among materialist scientists. Langdon recalls studies like Daryl Bame's on retrocausality, where future events appear to influence the past, challenging the linearity of time. Catherine compares this idea to universal consciousness, an eternal network where all things coexist. She then delves into the difficulty of observing consciousness objectively due to natural filters. She discusses GABA, the brain chemical that acts as a tuner, and how too much or too little of it alters perception. She describes how newborns, Tibetan monks, or people in altered states access expanded realities. Catherine proposes that GABA limits human perception, preventing us from seeing the universe as it truly is. Chapter 73. Catherine continues revealing her consciousness theory, comparing the brain to a radio filtering signals from a universal consciousness. She describes how gamma-aminobutyric acid, GABA, functions as an inhibitory filter, limiting stimuli so the brain doesn't become overwhelmed. She explains that newborns have high GABA levels, reducing perception. As we mature, GABA decreases, broadening perception. However, during states like deep meditation or after an epileptic seizure, GABA rises again, shutting out the outside world. This led her to investigate a paper by Brigitte Gessner on a chip that helped control epilepsy by stimulating GABA. Catherine linked the postictal bliss, an emotional state following seizures, with experiences of enlightenment and universal connection. Her theory proposes that these peaks of pure consciousness happen when GABA has not yet filtered incoming information, allowing reality to be seen without distortion. Chapter 74. Catherine reveals to Langdon a pivotal experiment she conducted on a terminal patient. Using magnetic resonance spectroscopy, she observed the brain in real time during the moment of death. Contrary to expectations, she discovered that GABA levels plummeted rather than rose, suggesting that the mind's filters were deactivated. The brain, free of barriers, accessed a total perception of reality. Catherine interprets this as the reason behind near-death experiences. Consciousness is freed, experiences bliss, and reintegrates into the whole. Furthermore, before dying, the patient experienced intense gamma waves, associated with full life recall. According to her hypothesis, death is not a blackout, but a final expansion of consciousness. Langdon, fascinated, reflects on the spiritual and scientific implications. Catherine asserts that the brain limits our perception, and only in death do we see the full truth of the universe. Chapter 75. Langdon and Catherine arrive at Petschek Villa, the official residence of the U.S. ambassador in Prague, a majestic palace once owned by a Jewish industrialist before the Nazi occupation. Awed by its architecture, they notice symbols of its dark past, furniture still marked with Nazi cataloging labels. Greeted by an aide, they are led into a warm parlor with food and freshly baked cookies. Although the atmosphere feels welcoming, Langdon remains wary. They explore the dining room and discover that the chairs still bear original Nazi insignias, kept as historical reminders. At that moment, Ambassador Heidi Nagel appears, serious and unsmiling, and apologizes on behalf of the government. Langdon and Catherine, surprised by the mix of hospitality and tension, realize the meeting will be far more profound than expected. They wonder whether they've found refuge or walked into a trap set by hidden power. Chapter 76. Ambassador Nagel leads Langdon and Catherine to her private library, where she admits she ordered a hidden microphone placed in their room under higher authority. Though she claims it was to protect them, Langdon is deeply suspicious. The ambassador offers them a confidentiality agreement in exchange for information about a mysterious figure named Finch. Langdon, suspecting that signing could legalize the suppression of Catherine's book, refuses. He and Catherine discuss the implications. Anything Finch reveals would be considered classified. Catherine realizes that those who destroyed her manuscript assumed she couldn't rewrite it due to such an agreement. The ambassador insists they would be even more exposed outside the villa. Langdon discovers a hidden phone in an old table and calls Faulkman to confirm Jonas is safe. Catherine becomes uneasy. No one knows they're there, and now they realize they might be trapped under official surveillance. Chapter 77. Langdon manages to contact Jonas Faulkman and confirms that he and Catherine are alive, though trapped at Petschek Villa. Faulkman reveals that the manuscript's hack was carried out by an organization called encrypted. Langdon is shocked to learn this entity is directly linked to the CIA, serving as its technology investment arm. This would explain the unlimited resources and total deletion of the book's copies. Alex Conan, the IT expert, investigates the ambassador and uncovers alarming evidence. Heidi Nagel worked for years as a CIA attorney before becoming a diplomat. Langdon and Catherine are stunned, realizing they've been manipulated by an intelligence apparatus far more powerful than they imagined. The editor warns them to leave the residence immediately. The CIA ambassador manuscript connection hints at something deeper they've yet to uncover, yet it has already placed them in danger. Chapter 78. Devastated by news of Michael Harris's death, Ambassador Heidi Nagel reflects on her troubled career. She was expelled from the CIA after classified documents were found in her home, an incident she later realized was staged by Finch to place her in Prague. Years later, Finch revealed she had been chosen as a key piece in a covert plan. Since then, she has been his pawn in secret operations. Forced to obey him under threat of treason charges, Nagel has followed every order under veiled coercion. Now, with Harris's death, a breaking point has arrived. Realizing Finch has crossed unacceptable lines, she knows she can no longer comply. The weight of the deaths and manipulations emotionally overwhelms her. Though trapped between conscience and the power structure controlling her, Nagel understands the time has come to act. Her loyalty to the CIA is broken, and her allegiance begins to waver. Chapter 79. The Golem returns to the Crucifix Bastion, determined to retrieve what he needs to fulfill his mission. Within, he recalls the original Golem's words, truth or death. Using his RFID card and a fingerprint acquired earlier, he accesses Gessner's lab. Agent Housemore, monitoring the area, spots him and tries to stop him, but the Golem manages to seal the door behind him. From the other side of the glass, he stares at her with his clay-covered face etched with symbols. As she attempts to call for help, she's ambushed by a second attacker. The Golem has evaded surveillance, reappearing where least expected. He stuns her with an electric shock, paralyzes her, and grips her neck while whispering that she doesn't know what he truly is. In a cold, precise act, he confirms his identity. I am the Golem. His purpose is clear. Nothing and no one will stand in the way of his vengeance. Chapter 80. Langdon and Catherine, seeking to escape the villa, discover a subterranean pool with no exits. The ambassador finds them there and, in an unexpected gesture, tears up the confidentiality agreements she previously demanded. She then makes a speakerphone call to Finch, pretending everything is under control. Langdon and Catherine discover Finch works for the CIA and that their manuscript threatens a secret project known as Umbral. After the call, Nagel leads them to a private room and confesses that she was once part of the CIA and is now trapped in a web of manipulation orchestrated by Finch. He uses In-Q-Tel, the CIA's investment arm, to operate without government oversight. According to Finch, Catherine's manuscript jeopardizes a key investment in Prague. Nagel reveals that the real goal of the agreements was to legally censor the book. Trapped, Langdon and Catherine now understand that Umbral is the key. Chapter 81. In the villa's basement, Heidi Nagel reveals that Project Umbral, run by the CIA, is a subterranean scientific facility built inside the Falamanca nuclear bunker. Officially labeled a military renovation site, it is actually used for experiments related to human consciousness. Langdon realizes the location was chosen for its urban camouflage. Nagel admits guilt over Harris's death and warns they're dealing with lethal forces. She offers 3 options: sign the confidentiality agreements, flee the country, or use the information as leverage to negotiate safety. She proposes gathering evidence and entrusting it to a third party as a safeguard in case of death. Langdon suggests a 4th, riskier option: infiltrate Umbral directly to obtain proof. Aware of the danger, Nagel agrees to help them, initiating a dangerous conspiracy against the country's most powerful agency. Chapter 82. During his flight to Prague, Everett Finch feels confident. The operation seems under control, Catherine and Langdon are located, the manuscript has been hacked, and success appears imminent. He reflects on Umbral's real objective: to control the human mind as a future weapon. He sees Catherine as a threat due to her ethics and refusal to collaborate on military projects. Finch reveals how he manipulated Gessner into luring Catherine to Prague under the guise of praising her book and acquiring the manuscript. But the plan failed. Catherine refused to sign the confidentiality agreement, and Gessner went silent. Alarmed by the possibility that Solomon knew details about Umbral, Finch ordered the publisher to be hacked. Discovering a key reference in the manuscript, he panicked upon learning Catherine was printing it from a hotel. He then activated his network of agents in Prague and New York. The message is clear: it's time to act. Chapter 83. Exhausted but determined, the golem hides Gessner's corpse in her lab. After torturing her using his personal EPR pod, he has gained full access to Umbral. The paralyzing weapon remains his favorite. Meanwhile, in New York, Jonas Falkman tries to understand the link between Catherine's manuscript and In-Q-Tel's investments. With help from Alex Conan, he accesses a list of technologies, many in fields like quantum computing and holographic visualization. Alex suggests using AI to analyze hidden connections. Though skeptical of AI, Falkman decides to act. He feels the war has begun. Meanwhile, the golem takes brutal measures to ensure access to Umbral. He mutilates Gessner's body. He is convinced the facility will be destroyed that very night. His vengeance, tied to young Sasha, has begun, and he now has everything needed to execute his final mission beneath Prague's soil. Chapter 84. Nagel orchestrates a complex plan to get Langdon and Catherine out of her residence undetected by Finch or the Marines. She drives off alone in her SUV with a medical excuse and leaves her official phone behind, using a personal untracked one. After circling the property, she picks up the 2 Americans and heads south of Prague. The ambassador declares herself an accomplice. Along the way, Langdon shares his risky plan: infiltrate Umbral and obtain photographic and documentary proof for protection. Nagel explains the entry is heavily guarded, but Langdon insists he has a strategy to bypass security. Tension is high, and the plan seems insane, but it's their only real chance. Meanwhile, Finch lands in Prague and starts suspecting Nagel, who isn't answering his calls. Something feels wrong, and he senses he's losing control of the operation. Chapter 85. During the ride, Catherine recalls old classified projects like Stargate, which focused on paranormal phenomena. She connects her noetic theories to the CIA's attempts to manipulate consciousness. She explains remote viewing, mental projection to distant locations, based on non-local consciousness. Langdon is skeptical, but she defends the scientific validity of the phenomenon. They discuss her research and the tension between cultural beliefs and empirical science. Catherine cites prominent researchers who supported her findings, many of whom were sidelined by the establishment. She reflects on lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences, concluding that everyone, at some point, will feel that mental separation at death. Her book explores these ideas with neuroscientific backing. Langdon, increasingly intrigued, begins to consider that umbral might be tied to these concepts. The conversation reveals how consciousness might exist beyond the body, and why such knowledge could be considered dangerous by intelligence agencies. Chapter 86. As they approach umbral, Nagel's personal phone rings. It's Sergeant Kerbal, reporting that he found an envelope on Harris's body, addressed to her. Alarmed, Nagel pulls over to speak privately. Kerbal demands her immediate return to the embassy. Knowing the Marines will be deployed if she refuses, she decides to separate from Langdon and Catherine. She gives them the SUV, the keys, and says goodbye, acknowledging they'll be safer without her. Catherine asks about the phone, but Nagel dismisses it as insecure. Langdon needs to contact his editor, so he writes a cryptic encrypted message that Nagel will send from a secure line. The group parts ways under pressure, knowing the situation is spiraling. The discovered letter adds a new layer of mystery, and all three sense that time is rapidly running out. Chapter 87. Langdon and Catherine head toward Umbral as the professor struggles to drive the manual transmission SUV. They discuss psychedelic drugs, altered states, and their effects on consciousness. Catherine argues hallucinogens aren't safe but acknowledges that some experiments show surprising effects. Langdon wonders if Umbral is tied to drugs, but Catherine believes her precognition research is the real cause. She explains her theory. The brain receives decisions from a universal consciousness field, eliminating free will. The conversation turns more intimate, touching on orgasms and out-of-body experiences. Catherine theorizes that Sasha, due to her epilepsy, might be part of the experiment, as epileptics have a natural tendency to disconnect from their bodies. Gessner and the CIA may have used her traits as the basis for their program. Langdon begins to grasp Umbral's true scope. Chapter 88. At the embassy, Nagel returns alone on foot and meets Sergeant Kerbal, who gives her the mysterious envelope found on Harris's corpse. She opens it and finds a brief note written on kitten-themed paper, apparently from Sasha's apartment. Its content remains unknown to the reader, but Nagel's reaction is one of shock and silence. She thanks the sergeant and requests privacy, clearly shaken. Meanwhile, at Umbral, the golem finally enters the facility after following Gessner's instructions. Determined to destroy the place as vengeance for Sasha, he steps into an eerie and threatening environment, already feeling the toll of his physical condition. With a metal rod in hand and a clear mission, he prepares for his final act inside the CIA's most secret project. Chapter 89. Langdon and Catherine reach the official entrance to the Salamanca bunker, now posed as a U.S. military restoration project. Security is tight, but there's no visible activity. Langdon has deduced the existence of a secret entrance maintained by the CIA. His logic is airtight, even Nagel believed it. As Catherine surveys the area, Langdon drives along the perimeter, searching for the exact spot. Both are tense but determined. Meanwhile, the golem has infiltrated Umbral. With data extracted from Gessner, he reaches a monumental chamber and prepares to destroy it. Fueled by grief and Sasha's death, he sees his actions as retribution. The atmosphere turns ethereal, as if the facility itself is reacting to his presence. As Umbral begins to reveal itself, the surrounding forces converge toward a critical tipping point. Chapter 90. Jonas Falkman, frustrated by AI search inefficiency, receives an email that appears to be from Langdon, but was sent by Nagel. Though skeptical of its authenticity, he opens it. The message contains an encrypted line, ROT13EX and WF equals BW. Falkman deciphers it using ROT13 and finds the phrase RL and KS equals OK. Recognizing the private joke shared with Langdon, he feels relief. His friend is alive. The ciphered message is a personal signal only he would understand. The confirmation that Robert is alive restores his hope. The tension and fear he's carried since the crisis began momentarily fade. Though answers remain elusive, he now knows Langdon is still fighting. The The message proves that even amid a covert international operation, Langdon retains his wit, his friendship, and his commitment to the truth. The real battle is only just beginning. Chapter 91. Robert Langdon stops before the Crucifix Bastion, convinced it hides an entrance to the Umbral complex. He recalls how many medieval fortresses had posterns, secret exits leading to underground tunnels. The Gessner Institute's purchase of the bastion reinforces his theory. With Catherine, he enters the building and explores a room with a sculpture concealing an elevator. The panel requires an RFID card and a password. Langdon enters a code deduced from Nagel's clues and activates it. Upon reaching Brigitte Gessner's private lab, they discover her corpse lying next to the EPR pod. They find her briefcase and phone, but the access card is missing. Catherine deduces that whoever stole it also took Gessner's thumb, required for biometric scanning. With time running out and access compromised, they realize someone else is already inside Umbral. Chapter 92. At the embassy, Heidi Nagel opens an anonymous letter found near Harris's body. Inside is a chilling video link showing Brigitte Gessner being tortured by a clay-covered man. The Golem. The file reveals secrets about Umbral that could ruin the US's reputation. Nagel grasps the scale of the project and how far the conspiracy has gone. Meanwhile, deep within Umbral, Sasha experiences total dissociation. Trapped between consciousness and darkness, she feels her body has vanished. She hears distant sounds and sees distorted lights but cannot move. She wonders if she is dreaming or dead, though her mind remains active. The emptiness is total. She floats in another realm. Her state is a direct result of the mind control technologies developed in Umbral. Though her body is still, her consciousness fights to return to reality. Chapter 93. The Golem wakes from a brief epileptic collapse deep inside Umbral. In pain but resolute, he crawls to the next door. Using Gessner's RFID card and severed thumb, he bypasses the final biometric lock. Inside, he finds an impressive mechanical chamber filled with generators, pressurized conduits, and life support systems. The entire complex hums with energy, yet there's no sign of human presence. Empowered by memories of Sasha and his accumulated rage, the Golem advances through a technical tunnel leading to a door marked Authorized Personnel Only. Opening it, he enters Umbral's operational core. The scale of what he sees leaves him breathless, but he doesn't stop. His goal is clear: destroy the system from within and avenge those like Sasha, used as guinea pigs in the science of mind control. Chapter 94. Langdon and Catherine inspect Gessner's body and find her phone next to the briefcase. The device contains a digital copy of the RFID card, but it requires 3 biometric authentications: password, facial scan, and thumbprint. Catherine unlocks the first 2, but the battery is dying. Langdon dashes to the elevator with the phone still powered to unlock the entrance before it shuts down. With just 10 seconds after scanning, he runs down the hall as the timer counts down. He stumbles but manages to activate the mechanism just in time. The elevator unlocks and descends toward Umbral. Catherine catches up and, entering, kisses him on the cheek as a sign of relief and gratitude. They know they've overcome the final technical barrier. The descent leads them to the heart of the CIA's most secret project beneath Prague. Chapter 95. From her embassy office, Heidi Nagel calls Gregory Judd, CIA director, confronting him over his involvement in the Umbral cover-up. Judd tries to justify his role, but Nagel stands firm. She reveals she possesses a video of Gessner confessing under torture. Judd attempts to intimidate her, but Nagel is clear: if anything happens to her, the file will be released. After the call, Nagel copies the video to a USB disguised as diplomatic material and gives it to Sergeant Kerbal, asking for maximum discretion. She then seeks Dana Danik's help to track Sasha using urban surveillance cameras. Though unsure if Sasha is alive, she vows to find her. Meanwhile, the Golem moves through Umbral's halls, armed only with conviction. Nagel's threat echoes like a ticking time bomb as all pieces align for an imminent climax. Chapter 96. Langdon and Catherine emerge from the elevator into a futuristic underground station, deserted and silent. In front of them, a magnetic car awaits. They board, and it moves forward without instructions. During the journey, another car appears head-on at high speed. A side track activates, diverting them just in time. The car slows at a second station, revealing Umbral's true face. Clinical corridors, biometric sensors, automatic doors, and high-end medical equipment. Catherine finds robotic operating rooms, brain scanners, and a recovery suite, all perfectly operational but without any staff. Langdon realizes this is more than a lab, it's a secret medical facility for mind control. They head toward an area labeled Operations, convinced the answers lie ahead. Umbral's true purpose is about to be revealed. Chapter 97. En route to Heidi Nagel's residence, Everett Finch receives an urgent call from Gregory Judd. The CIA director, visibly shaken, accuses him of using the ambassador as a pawn without foresight. He reveals that Nagel possesses incriminating footage and has begun issuing real threats. Finch, stunned, believed she didn't know the project's core details. Judd demands he contain the situation before it triggers a diplomatic disaster. After the call, Finch realizes he's lost control of the narrative. Meanwhile, Langdon and Catherine explore Umbral's depths, nearing a central chamber. The darkest secrets are about to surface. Finch, increasingly cornered, considers drastic measures. He knows if the information leaks, it won't just end careers, it could topple governments. Time is running out, and global power balances now hang by a thread beneath Prague. Chapter 98. The Golem enters Umbral's control room. Before him lies a silent space filled with monitors, keyboards, and servers buzzing with invisible energy. Despite the modernity, it's empty. His mission is clear: destroy the system that imprisons Sasha. He locates the main panel and retrieves an improvised explosive from his bag. He surveys the room, ensuring no survivors remain. He sees a medical chair with restraints and a brain visor, where Sasha was likely subjected to experiments. Emotions overwhelm him, but he forces himself to stay focused. He places the device in the system's energy core and activates the countdown. As the timer begins, the golem silently says goodbye to Sasha. He does not intend to escape. He came to die with the monster. Umbral, symbol of abused knowledge, is minutes from annihilation. Chapter 99. Langdon and Catherine advance through the operations wing when they feel a vibration beneath their feet. Unbeknownst to them, the golem has activated the bomb that will destroy Umbral. Systems begin to fail. Lights flicker, alarms blare, and automatic doors lock. Catherine locates a room where she believes Sasha is held and separates from Langdon, determined to find her. He runs toward the car to escape. Both race against time. In a dark room, Catherine finds Sasha unconscious and hooked to sensors. Without hesitation, she disconnects her and lifts her in her arms. Meanwhile, Langdon restarts the magnetic car. Catherine appears with Sasha just in time, and all three escape as the vehicle departs. Behind them, Umbral begins to collapse. Internal explosions shake the structure. Though they escape by seconds, none will forget the man who chose to remain and end the cycle in fire. Chapter 100. After escaping Umbral's collapse, Langdon, Catherine, and Sasha emerge through a camouflaged exit among ruins. Ambulances and special forces already surround the area. Weak but conscious, Sasha begins to speak. Her words confirm she was part of an experiment on expanded consciousness, induced to explore dimensions beyond the body. Catherine listens, moved, realizing her noetic theories were manipulated for military ends. Nagel arrives and embraces the survivors, handing over the golem's video and Gessner's confession to an international prosecutor. In the hours that follow, Umbral is officially dismantled, and arrests ripple across agencies and embassies. Nagel resigns. Langdon returns to Harvard. Catherine publishes a new edition of her book telling the full story. Sasha vanishes from public view. But the world has already changed. The final secret has been revealed, and science will never be innocent again. Chapter 101. Gregory Judd speeds toward CIA headquarters, disturbed by the possible leak from Nagel. He suspects the ambassador has uncovered the truth about Umbral, a psychic weapon that could shift the global balance of power. While contemplating the implications in the Salamanca shelter, the golem regains strength before entering the main vault. He manages to open the metal door and steps into a freezing chamber connected to a ventilation shaft disguised as the R2-D2 droid. This air duct, now sealed, has been repurposed as a release channel for pressurized gas. The design conceals its real purpose, serving as a safety valve for the liquid helium cooling Umbral's energy system. As Judd fears a diplomatic disaster if the truth comes out, the golem moves forward without turning back, determined to destroy the power source that embodied Sasha Vesna's suffering. Chapter 102. Langdon and Catherine pass through a decontamination chamber and enter a lab filled with advanced chip-making technology. Among test tubes and precision machines, they identify a photolithographer and a stack of silicon wafers, indicating that Umbral is developing brain implants. Catherine suspects Sasha was implanted under the guise of epilepsy treatment. Though the lab shows no direct evidence, it suggests a large-scale operation. They discuss GABA and the potential to regulate perception via implants. Catherine shares her old theory about expanding consciousness filters to access deeper realities. Langdon urges her to elaborate, and both realize Umbral may have made her theory real. They discover a liquid culture device possibly used to grow synthetic biofilaments, essential for artificial neurons. The revelation shakes Catherine, who begins to understand that her manuscript wasn't speculation. It was a blueprint for something already built. Chapter 103. Everett Finch bursts into the Crucifix Bastion in search of answers. In the lobby, he finds Susan Housemore's lifeless body hidden beneath a sofa. The sight shocks him, and he begins to suspect Sasha might be involved. As he analyzes the scene, he recalls that only 2 epileptic patients have been in Umbral: Sasha and Dmitry Sisevich. The pieces start to align, and Finch steels himself to face an unexpected threat. Meanwhile, the golem is in the AEMS vault, gazing at the massive toroidal machine that generates a magnetic field powered by liquid helium. He contemplates triggering a thermal collapse by releasing the stored helium. If the tanks heat beyond their critical point, the expanding gas would create a devastating explosion. The golem realizes he holds an unprecedented weapon. His mission is no longer just to destroy Umbral, but to do so using the very energy that sustains it. Chapter 104. As Catherine examines the lab's cultures, she finds a confidential folder confirming her worst fears. Upon reading it, she discovers the CIA has used synthetic BBL, a material she proposed decades ago to create artificial neurons. Every technical detail matches her graduate thesis. Langdon tries to console her, but she insists this isn't coincidence. The agency stole her design. The discovery confirms the link between her manuscript and Umbral's secret experiments. Catherine explains that BBL enables a synthetic network to interface with the brain. Langdon recalls her thesis describing a neural mesh enveloping the brain to facilitate human-machine integration. The revelation is a turning point. Umbral has fabricated artificial neurons based on her design, without her knowledge or consent. Catherine realizes she's been watched and betrayed since her university years. Chapter 105. Catherine confirms her thesis contained the exact idea now realized by the CIA. A stunned Langdon listens as she describes the artificial neuron design she created 23 years ago during her doctoral studies. Her mentor, Professor Cosgrove, had suggested filing a patent as an academic exercise. Although it was denied for lack of utility, Cosgrove kept a copy, which he later bequeathed to Catherine in his will. She confesses to including the facsimile in her manuscript, hoping to inspire other scientists. This revelation changes everything. The book she planned to publish contains irrefutable proof that the CIA appropriated her technology. Langdon understands that if the manuscript is released, Umbral and its implications could be exposed to the world. In the folder, they also find MLFA brain scans of Sasha Vesna, showing an implanted chip and a neural mesh. Catherine is horrified to recognize her entire design implanted in Chapter 106. Catherine reveals to Langdon that she included her denied patent in the manuscript, unaware it outlined a technology under CIA development. Her mentor Cosgrove had sensed the danger and kept a copy as a safeguard. Now, with the chip images and confidential folder in hand, Catherine holds solid evidence of the unauthorized use of her design. The manuscript becomes a legal bombshell, capable of destroying the credibility of Umbrel and the Q Fund. Langdon realizes the implants could give the CIA unprecedented control over cognitive technology, making Umbrel a strategic and commercial powerhouse. Catherine also recalls that researcher Brigida had asked if she'd ever filed a patent, suggesting the CIA already knew of her work. With documents and images attached, the manuscript may now be the most damning proof of intellectual theft in decades. Chapter 107. At the embassy, Heidi Nagel desperately searches for Dana Danik to ask for help locating Sasha. She finds Dana packing up her belongings after resigning. Dana accuses her of sacrificing Michael Harris, but Nagel insists Sasha was not the killer. At that moment, Scott Kerbal bursts in with an arrest order for the ambassador, sent directly from the CIA. Apparently betraying her, Kerbal hands her over to the Marines and blocks her from speaking to Dana. However, unseen, he slips the diplomatic case containing the only copy of Gessner's confession video into Dana's box of belongings. Handcuffed, Nagel is taken to the basement for interrogation. Meanwhile, Kerbal pretends to follow orders but secretly trusts Dana will protect the case's contents. Checking the GPS locator, he sees Nagel's car is parked near Salamanca Park. Chapter 108. Langdon and Catherine descend a spiral ramp to a deeper level. As footsteps echo behind them, they find a door with an RFID reader left ajar. Langdon closes it, unaware they also need a card to exit. The room they're trapped in seems more comfortable, with artificial trees and lit tunnels, hinting at an even more secret sector of Umbrel. They follow a curved tunnel to find black capsules connected to terminals. Horrified, Catherine realizes they are advanced suspended animation pods, designed to induce altered states of consciousness and interface with neural implants. All signs point to Umbrel having created a death lab, meant to study the threshold between life and death. This room, equipped with near-field technology, could transmit and record the most extreme mental experiences ever achieved. Umbrel has crossed all ethical boundaries. Chapter 109. Langdon and Catherine devise a clever plan to trick Finch. They activate the supply room lights to distract him and hide behind a plastic leaf-covered door held open with an improvised wedge. When Finch checks the wrong room, they close the door behind him, trapping themselves in a sealed section that also requires an RFID card to exit. Langdon discovers that the entry was made possible using artificial ficus leaves from the lobby, suggesting someone else had used this hidden route before. Meanwhile, the golem continues his sabotage in the AEMS vault. One by one, he shuts the valves controlling the flow of liquid helium, initiating an irreversible overheating process. The control panel begins flashing warnings as pressure builds in the tanks. After sealing the last valve, he envisions the impending collapse. He is ready to die with Umbrel, as vengeance for what was done to Sasha. Chapter 110. Langdon and Catherine explore the new room where they're trapped. At the far end, they find a wide tunnel leading into a domed chamber resembling a planetarium, but built as a control center. In the middle, a circular platform houses workstations surrounded by metal capsules wired to computer systems. Each capsule, when opened, reveals a padded interior with restraints and brain receptors. Catherine realizes they're suspended animation chambers meant to induce altered states and transmit mental experiences directly from brain implants. These capsules allow access to profound levels of human consciousness. Langdon realizes they found Umbrel's central installation, where death is studied as a scientific frontier. Catherine identifies tech similar to the neural mesh seen in Sasha's skull. Everything points to the patients being led on an out-of-body journey. Umbrel doesn't just manipulate the mind, it has created an underground temple dedicated to transcending life itself. Chapter 111. Langdon and Catherine realize the gravity of the death lab when Everett Finch intercepts them, pointing a gun at them. He accuses them of breaking into top-secret facilities and demands to know how much they've learned. Catherine mentions the theft of her patent, but Finch denies it with technical arguments, revealing that not registering it was part of the CIA's strategy to conceal their involvement. He explains the agency used her design to develop EPR capsules, brain implants, and a system to capture images from the mind's eye. Langdon realizes that Umbrel allows the recording of near-death experiences, marking a revolution in consciousness research. Finch threatens to imprison them, but his true goal is to demonstrate the scale of the project, to create psychonauts controlled by human pilots, capable of spying with a disembodied consciousness. According to him, Umbral is not science, it is the ultimate weapon of modern espionage. Chapter 112. Finch explains how the CIA aims to surpass companies like Neuralink, thanks to Catherine's design. He reveals the implant can capture what the mind's inner eye sees: memories, dreams, fantasies. Catherine is overwhelmed upon realizing her model of non-local consciousness has been realized. Finch states the capsules induce out-of-body experiences that can be viewed in real time, validating theories about altered states near death. The CIA, he claims, can project consciousnesses anywhere in the world, guided by a human pilot. Langdon is torn between academic skepticism and the accumulating evidence. Catherine, fascinated, admits the technology proves consciousness survives beyond the body. Finch concludes that Umbral isn't noetic science. It's a military arsenal for controlling the human mind in its most vulnerable state, the moment before death. Chapter 113. From CIA headquarters, Gregory Judd reflects on Umbral's origins. He remembers how in 1976, remote viewing was discovered thanks to a drawing by Ingo Swann, who depicted a Soviet base without ever leaving the US. This prompted the creation of Stargate, a covert program exploring psychic abilities. The experiments yielded surprising results, such as locating planes and enemy submarines. Despite its success, Stargate was officially shut down in 1995 after leaks to the press. However, it secretly continued under other names. In 2015, new tests validated the program's achievements. Judd recalls how the CIA decided to relocate operations abroad and renamed the initiative Umbral. A call interrupts his thoughts. Heidi Nagel appears handcuffed on the screen. At that moment, a report from Kerbal warns of a massive explosion in Prague. Chapter 114. Shaken by what she's heard, Catherine deduces that Umbral doesn't study consciousness, it weaponizes it. She identifies two historical barriers in her field: the difficulty of inducing and remembering out-of-body experiences. Finch explains how Umbral has overcome both using capsules and neural recording. Catherine is stunned to learn that artificial neurons are integrated via a technique called forced cooperation. The brain and chip are simultaneously tasked with problems to trigger synaptic fusion. Finch admits Brigitte Gessner perfected this method. When asked how the CIA discovered her thesis, Finch mentions the Blavatnik Awards and the infiltration of the SRI into the selection committee. Langdon demands to leave, but Finch refuses, claiming Sasha killed 2 agents. Then, from the shadows, a voice interrupts. A clay-covered figure demands the epilepsy rod, revealing that the golem is alive and ready to act. Chapter 115. The golem emerges from the freight elevator, a terrifying clay-covered figure with the Hebrew word emet engraved on his forehead. Finch tries to stop him by aiming his weapon, but the strange figure advances with arms outstretched until he collapses in an epileptic fit. Feigning weakness, he uses the moment to get close. Finch mocks him, holding the rod. In a lightning move, the golem stuns him with a taser and leaves him injured. As Langdon and Catherine watch in shock, the golem locks Finch inside one of the EPR capsules, securing him with straps. Finch pleads, but the golem whispers that his fate is sealed. After closing the lid, he activates the system. Evacuation alarms sound. The explosion is imminent. The golem hands Langdon the access card and yells at them to flee, staying behind to complete his vengeance. Chapter 116. Langdon and Catherine escape the lab using the RFID card taken from Finch. They race up concrete stairs, passing empty offices and carpeted corridors. They soon realize they're not alone. 3 staff members are evacuating. They follow them to a control post leading to the underground parking lot. They glimpse daylight ahead, but just as they reach the exit, a metal gate begins to close. The explosion, triggered by the AEMS system, devastates Umbral's lower levels. Inside the EPR capsule, paralyzed Finch realizes his end is near. He hears the glass shatter and dies a violent, silent death. Outside, Kerbal witnesses a white eruption that turns Salamanca Park into a crater. Artificial snowflakes fall after the implosion. Langdon and Catherine, trapped in the parking lot, seek shelter in a sedan just as the shockwave violently hits them. Chapter 117. Sheltered inside the sedan, Langdon and Catherine endure the shockwave that flips the vehicle. After several violent rolls, they remain trapped inside, unsure if they're alive. Langdon eventually escapes through a broken window and helps Catherine out. They embrace in the dark, relieved. Catherine laments the loss of the folder with evidence, but Langdon reassures her. Their survival is what matters. Meanwhile, Ambassador Nagel argues with Judd via video call. He tries to justify Umbral as a military necessity, comparing it to the atomic bomb. She doesn't believe him and is interrupted by an alert. There's been a subterranean explosion at Falamanca. In the monorail tunnel, the golem wakes amidst rubble. Exhausted, he pushes forward to find Sasha. Dragging himself, he reaches the platform, finds the elevator, and activates it. His mission isn't over. Chapter 118. Langdon and Catherine escape the parking lot through a gap left by the explosion. Armed soldiers stop them, but Marine Scott Kerbal steps in and frees them. He informs them that Nagel has been arrested by Judd's order and fears they might be next. In the car, Langdon insists they must find Sasha Vesna, convinced she's key to protecting the ambassador. Catherine suspects the golem is Dmitry Sisevich and that Sasha is alive, possibly hidden. Langdon reveals that Sasha could be in the upstairs apartment that Gessner had sealed off. Kerbal gives them the cat-shaped keychain. Wounded, the golem reaches the elevator of the Crucifix Bastion and begins his ascent. Meanwhile, Langdon leads Catherine to the apartment, finds the hidden staircase behind boxes, and climbs toward the sealed door, determined to find Sasha. Chapter 119. Catherine and Langdon get out of the embassy car in front of Old Town Square. Langdon deduces Sasha is in the upstairs apartment, hidden behind a staircase camouflaged with boxes. Using Gessner's keychain, he opens the upper door and finds a shadowy room, ascending the stairs. Meanwhile, the golem pushes through the monorail tunnel with his last ounce of strength. Despite the partial collapse, he reaches the elevator and activates it. Kerbal, unsure whether to fully trust Langdon, realizes protecting Sasha is the only way to help Nagel. Catherine begins to suspect Sasha was convinced or forced to hide upstairs during Harris's murder. Langdon asserts that since Gessner owned both units, she would have had a single key, allowing her to prepare everything without raising suspicion. Chapter 120. Langdon and Catherine enter the upstairs apartment using the same key that unlocked Sasha's unit. Catherine finds the access was hidden behind a fake service room, where a staircase led to the upper level. They climb with difficulty, guided only by Langdon's intuition, and knock several times. Receiving no answer, Langdon suspects Sasha may be inside, unconscious or sedated. Upon entering, they switch on the light and are stunned by the scene. A violet glow fills the space, casting a spectral aura. Catherine, still disoriented, begins to realize Sasha never fled. Someone likely hid her there to make it seem like she'd disappeared. Langdon searches the room for clues. Both understand this floor holds the final truth about Umbral. If Sasha is alive, she could expose the entire secret operation to the world. Chapter 121. In the laboratory of the Crucifix Bastion, the golem faces his fate. Alone in the bathroom, he gazes at his clay-covered face and scrapes the Aleph letter from his forehead, turning truth into death, as per the ancient Hebrew rite. Naked, he steps into the shower, letting the water wash away the last traces of clay, symbolically bidding farewell to his existence. He knows his mission is over. He has destroyed Umbral, avenged Sasha, and is ready to disappear. As the water falls, he recalls everything, from Sasha's torture to the end of the secret project. The transformation is not merely physical. His consciousness separates from the body he inhabited, and his choice to die becomes a voluntary act. He feels his purpose was to protect Sasha, and now he must step aside. The golem, symbol of pain and resistance, prepares to cease existing in full awareness. Chapter 122. Langdon and Catherine explore the mysterious apartment above Sasha's flat, a place bathed in black light and violet mist. They quickly realize it's not a home but a secret refuge. Langdon deduces it was used by Dmitry Sisevich, but something feels off. They find an altar with candles and a photo of Sasha, confirming the golem's obsession with protecting her. They also discover a bare mattress, a gag, and restraints, but Catherine clarifies these weren't for sexual practices. They were safety tools for managing epileptic crises. In the bathroom, Langdon finds theatrical ultramud makeup and a cap stained with clay. Inside, he also finds a strand of blonde hair and a filament that causes an emotional breakdown. He realizes he has missed something crucial and concludes the golem isn't Dmitry. Horrified, he rushes to find Catherine and reveal a truth that changes everything. Chapter 123. Langdon reveals to Catherine that the hair found in the cap belongs to Sasha and that the golem is actually an alternate identity of her. As he processes the truth, the golem is in the lab washing off the clay in the shower, revealing the real body underneath, a woman's body, Sasha's. The alter ego has lived as a silent protector, intervening only when the young woman couldn't endure reality. He recalls his creation during a traumatic episode in a psychiatric hospital, when Sasha, near collapse, summoned him. Since then, he has borne the pain, blocking memories and controlling the body during the hardest moments. Over time, he blended with her, mimicking her voice, gestures, and making tough choices. The golem acknowledges that his purpose was to save Sasha, but now the time has come to disappear and free her from her own shadow. Chapter 124. While Langdon feeds Sasha's cats, he reflects on what he's discovered. Sasha's dual identity explains her memory gaps, the mysterious letter, and the golem's appearances. Catherine, still stunned, wonders if epilepsy was just a cover for the experiments, or if the disorder had a natural connection to out-of-body states. They both conclude it was likely a combination of both. Langdon calls the embassy and reaches Heidi Nagel, who has been released from custody but remains under surveillance. When he informs her of Everett Finch's death at Umbral, she cuts him off and demands an in-person meeting. They agree to meet at the Wallenstein Garden Grotto, a public but discreet location. Langdon hangs up, certain that the truth must soon come to light. Sasha's case, her hidden identity, and Umbral's crimes have reached the point of no return. Chapter 125. Langdon and Catherine meet Heidi Nagel at the Wallenstein Garden Grotto. The ambassador leads them through a hidden door into a luxurious spa inside a former Augustinian monastery. There, in a private room lit with candles and Gregorian chants, Nagel reveals she received an anonymous message containing the URL to Brigitte Gessner's confession video, recorded by the golem. The file includes undeniable evidence of Umbral's illegal experiments, brain surgeries, psychoactive substances, and Dmitry's murder. The message is signed Sasha's protector. The ambassador confirms that this evidence protects them. If anything happens to them, the video will go public. Though she doesn't know the golem's identity, she assumes he's a Russian linked to Umbral. Langdon and Catherine decide to tell her the full truth. The golem is none other than Sasha Vesna, both victim and executioner of her fate. Chapter 126. After learning the truth about Sasha, Nagel is devastated. The knowledge that Sasha killed Harris haunts her. Catherine insists it wasn't Sasha but her alter ego, the golem. Even so, the ambassador feels guilty for pushing Harris into espionage. Leaving the grotto, Nagel observes the winter decay of the Wallenstein Gardens, a symbol of her career's end. She decides she will resign soon, though her fight for the truth is not over. As Kerbal offers to drive Langdon and Catherine back to the hotel, the ambassador thanks him for his loyalty. Meanwhile, Kerbal finds the USB stick hidden among Dana Danik's belongings. Just then, a Marine bursts into Nagel's office to report that a young Russian woman has arrived asking for Michael Harris. When Nagel sees the name written in Cyrillic, she instantly realizes Sasha Vesna has returned, alive but confused. Chapter 127. Sasha Vesna arrives at the U.S. Embassy disoriented, asking for Michael Harris. Ambassador Nagel recognizes her immediately but proceeds with caution. Sasha doesn't remember anything, not Harris's death nor her role as the golem. Faced with her confusion, Nagel initiates a fake diplomatic protocol, and offers her controlled containment as part of a supposed asylum request. Sasha accepts without hesitation, extending her arms to be cuffed. The ambassador orders that she be taken to a secure room with food and medical care. As the young woman is escorted by Marines, Nagel climbs the stairs in shock. She knows Sasha's mind is a minefield and that she must now decide how to proceed. Sasha's return shifts the political and moral landscape. The ambassador has little time and a pressing decision: how to protect the girl without sparking an international crisis. Chapter 128. In her Dejvice apartment, Dana Danik watches the news about the Falamanca explosion. The official story cites a natural gas accident, but she suspects otherwise. She receives an unexpected visit from Sergeant Kerbal, who informs her that the ambassador wants her back at her post. Dana, exhausted and mourning Harris, resists. Kerbal mentions a lost diplomatic case, which she finds inside her box of personal effects. The package carries a note: "Do not speak of this to anyone." Dana demands an explanation, but Kerbal merely states it must be recovered immediately. Meanwhile, Nagel drinks alone in her office, reflecting on her role in recent events. Though she's reached an agreement with the CIA, she keeps the USB stick as insurance. When a Marine hands her a note written in Russian, she understands that Sasha Vesna has returned and urgently needs her protection. Chapter 129. Sasha Vesna arrives at the U.S. Embassy looking disheveled, trembling, and not fully grasping her situation. She claims to be in danger and asks for Michael Harris, who told her to come if she felt threatened. Heidi Nagel, bewildered, knows she must act fast and convinces her to accept an asylum protocol. Confused, Sasha complies, allowing herself to be restrained. Nagel orders her placed in a secure room and promises to see her shortly. Climbing the stairs, the ambassador reflects on the difficult choices ahead. Sasha is not only a victim but also the bearer of deadly secrets. The embassy becomes a fragile ground where a single misstep could trigger an international scandal. Although the young woman remembers nothing of Umbral or Harris's death, Nagel realizes that protecting her will mean defying the very system she once upheld. Chapter 130. While Langdon and Catherine rest at the Four Seasons after a harrowing day, in New York, Jonas Falkman reflects on Catherine's manuscript, now on hold. Though he fears CIA interference, he hopes the two will soon arrive in the U.S. to reveal the truth. At the embassy, Sasha has requested protection, unaware she holds the most powerful secret of the Umbral project. In Prague, the official narrative blames the explosion on a gas leak, but the world remains unaware of what transpired underground. In their room, Langdon and Catherine share a tender moment as she prepares to spend the night beside him. In the distance, the city sleeps, and history turns into legend. The final secret remains safe, guarded by those who survived. Knowledge hasn't been destroyed, it has merely changed hands. And a new era is about to begin. Chapter 131. Langdon wakes from a weightless dream about Prague, marked by rhythmic knocks that turn out to be a call from the embassy. The dreamlike scene reflects the closeness of death, reminding him of Catherine's explanations about dreams and near-death states. Meanwhile, the golem remains at the forefront of Sasha's consciousness, secluded in a room at the embassy, awaiting the right moment to relinquish control. His mission is complete. The word asylum has been spoken by Nagel, and he trusts this path will protect Sasha from further harm. His plan was carefully sown, implanting the right decision in the ambassador's mind. Gessner's confession revealed everything and weakened their enemies. Though Sasha is under arrest, she is safe for now. The golem clings to the hope that Nagel will become the decisive ally Sasha needs to survive. Chapter 132. Nagel has decided to resign as ambassador following recent events. Though she still holds power, an inner void consumes her. When Sasha requests asylum, it seems to give her a renewed sense of purpose. In her office, the ambassador tells Langdon and Catherine that the U.S. military views them as suspects due to their presence at Umbral before the explosion. However, she also shares classified information. Umbral is a continuation of Project Stargate, centered on the power of human consciousness. She argues that mental research is now a geopolitical race, akin to the atomic bomb. Catherine challenges the project's ethics, but Nagel insists on her duty to protect the United States. Langdon demands to know the plan to safeguard Sasha and themselves. Nagel reveals Sasha is alive and at the embassy. She proposes handing her over to the CIA under strict conditions. The suggestion stuns them both, but Nagel insists on explaining her reasoning. Chapter 133. Langdon is shocked to learn that Sasha is alive and has requested asylum. Though under arrest, she is contained to avoid risk. Nagel explains that Sasha is both an innocent victim and a dangerous criminal, carrying a secret brain chip. Time is running out. Her identity and fingerprints are already circulating, and she'll soon be wanted as a suspect. Nagel believes the CIA wants her alive, not just for her abilities, but because she represents years of investment. Despite Langdon and Catherine's protests, the ambassador insists. Surrendering her is inevitable but must be under strict conditions. Sasha will be protected and treated as a valuable asset. The CIA will be held accountable, and Nagel herself will oversee the agreement. Despite his doubts, Langdon begins to understand this might be the only way to save her. Catherine, though hesitant, is willing to follow his lead. Langdon wrestles with heart and reason, with no clear path ahead. Chapter 134. Langdon leaves Nagel's office with the mission to convince Sasha. The ambassador promises to oversee Umbrel, ensuring no experiments proceed without consent. Her personal redemption lies in protecting Sasha and redirecting the project. Without her approval, nothing will move forward. Langdon agrees to speak with the young woman, knowing he might be the only one she trusts. He enters the meeting room where Sasha, handcuffed, watches him warily. He approaches gently and explains there's a plan to ensure her safety. But first, he needs one crucial confirmation. He must know who he's speaking with. Sasha looks at him and finally responds with a different, firm, cavernous voice. It isn't her. It's her alter who remains in control. The golem is still present, guarding her. The conversation will be with him, the one who must decide whether to trust the world that hurt her. Chapter 135. While Langdon talks with Sasha, Catherine speaks with Nagel in the embassy's lounge. They discuss the lost manuscript, which Nagel confirms was destroyed by the CIA. Catherine brings up terror management theory, explaining how fear of death shapes human behavior, making us selfish, individualistic, and materialistic. The brain uses unconscious strategies to cope, but as threats intensify, destructive behaviors arise. However, those unafraid of death tend to act with greater compassion and generosity. Catherine suggests that changing our view of death could radically transform society. Nagel, intrigued, notes the CIA director's interest in such ideas. When Langdon enters with a smile, Catherine knows his conversation with Sasha was successful. Langdon confirms it's time to call Director Judd. Sasha has agreed. The future is set in motion, and Catherine's message may soon be heard. Chapter 136. At Prague's airport, Nagel coordinates Sasha's secret departure to Langley. Scott Kerbel accompanies her, carrying a hard drive for Director Judd. Sasha, calm though handcuffed, travels with her cats, unaware of the danger posed by the chip inside her. The ambassador has crafted a contingency plan with 4 encrypted copies of Gessner's video, ensuring retaliation if the CIA breaks its word. Sasha, lost in mental fog, doesn't remember everything, but her inner voice reassures her all will be well. She feels peaceful, views the trip to the US as a reward, and trusts Nagel as a friend. Upon parting, she breaks into tears at receiving a maternal hug she hadn't felt since childhood. Nagel is moved as well. Sasha leaves not fully knowing what she's leaving behind, but convinced her new life will be better. Darkness stays behind. Chapter 137. Langdon and Catherine enjoy breakfast at the Alchemist Hotel, savoring the relief after chaotic days. He plans an important revelation. They head separately to Prague Castle, and Catherine arrives first at St. Vitus Cathedral, admiring the architecture and finding the famed door of 7 locks. While she waits, Langdon appears and leads her to the pulpit. There, with theatrical solemnity, he begins reading fragments of a supposed sacred text, but it's her manuscript. Catherine, stunned, climbs the pulpit and realizes he had hidden it in the library, burning only the bibliographic sources. He explains it was to protect her so she wouldn't have to lie. She hugs him, deeply moved. She confesses her love, and he reciprocates tenderly. For the first time in a long while, Catherine feels her voice may finally be heard. The manuscript is safe. The last secret hasn't been lost. Chapter 138. Mid-flight to the U.S., Scott Kerbal travels with a sleeping Sasha and her curled-up cats. He carries the encrypted disk with Gessner's confession, protected by a Kissinger quote-based password. Though he could access it, he chooses not to betray Nagel's trust. Meanwhile, the golem briefly emerges within Sasha, gazing out the window at the ocean. He reflects that North America symbolizes a new beginning, an opportunity countless immigrants once sought. He feels fulfilled. His purpose is complete. He won't vanish immediately, but will fade gradually, like a distant whisper in Sasha's mind. His role was to protect her. Now it's her turn to live. Though he'll set her free, he'll always remain near. In intuition, hunches, or silent guidance, the golem closes his eyes, knowing he has fulfilled his mission. Sasha will finally have the life she deserves. Chapter 139. Catherine arrives alone at Prague Castle and explores St. Vitus Cathedral, marveling at its architecture and symbolism. She finds the enigmatic door of 7 locks, sealed as expected. Soon, Langdon joins her and leads her to the pulpit, where he reads fragments of her manuscript. Catherine, astonished, realizes Langdon never destroyed it. He hid it in the library, burning only the references. He wanted to protect her from potential interrogations. She embraces him, overwhelmed, and confesses her love. Church bells ring as they share a moment of reconciliation and hope. The manuscript represents a lifetime of work and sacrifice. Catherine understands her message has power and could still change the world. The final secret is no longer buried. It has been recovered through intelligence, courage, and love. Langdon has saved more than a book. He has preserved a voice. The future is open. Everything can begin anew. Epilogue. Langdon and Catherine wake up in New York, their lives lit by new hope. Catherine has replaced her alarm with Ravel's Bolero, a symbol of restrained passion. They joke, laugh, and give in to love. Over breakfast, they discuss the manuscript and their future. Langdon suggests the perfect title, The Secret of Secrets. Catherine hesitates, but emotion overwhelms her. They know the book could transform global perceptions of consciousness and death. Before their meeting with the publisher, they explore the city. On a harbor cruise, they arrive at the Statue of Liberty. Catherine gazes at the radiant crown, symbol of knowledge. She sees the U.S. as a receiver of ideas, cultures, and dreams. She reflects on consciousness and the possibility of life beyond death. Leaning on Langdon, everything feels right. The message is ready. Love has been reborn, and the last secret is about to be told. We've reached the end of The Secret of Secrets, a story where Robert Langdon uncovers not just ancient knowledge but questions that touch the core of human existence. Can science ever define the soul? Or will mystery remain our last frontier? Thank you for watching this summary here on Literary Journeys. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, hit like, and share it with other fans of Dan Brown's world of symbols and secrets. Tell me in the comments, which revelation struck you the most? Do you think the soul is science's next great puzzle, or something meant to remain divine?